What is up, people? Welcome to the stream. I'm Braethorn. How are you doing? I should really stop having my hand on that fader because it's just like cut off in the very first shot, and then there goes all suspension of disbelief. You see, I mean, I'm in the same room. It's still the green screen, okay? It's fun. We're having fun with it, and I have continued dialing it in. It's these weird little caveats and little changes and stuff that I have to address, and I want it to be so dialed in, all my lights levels, brightness and everything, placement, everything, that it is all 100%, so that I never have to worry about having to edit around bad green screen footage ever again. But that's it. Well, welcome to the stream. It is Tuesday, and I hope your week got off to a good start. What's going on, Steve? Welcome in. How you doing? Natty calling out that we were starting. We're actually still kind of starting. But yeah, and Shanala, you lost your streak. That is rough. What were you up to? It was up there. But such things happen. It's just that just means it's time to build a new one. Trust me, I know the feeling of having to start from scratch. Keep that right there. There we go. Okay. But yes. So tonight we will. Well, I mean, hopefully tonight we'll get to help some people with PC stuff. That is always fun, always a good time. Well, I say that. Lately, not as much, but I mean, you know what? It's important to do, and we still do it. So if you are here and lurking, it's unlikely looking at. No, but I mean, if you come in here and you're looking for help, or if you're watching the VOD later on, and you're like, "Is this like you're not used to watching streams?" Well, this is live. These people are saying stuff right now, like Lucianic Wolf. What's up? Welcome in. 90. You were up to 90. Jeez, that hurts. I'm just gonna go ahead and hide that number. That hurts to look at. It's okay. You get another one going. If you're watching the VOD and you're like, why aren't my comments coming through in the comments section? That doesn't happen. But yeah, it's live. Come hang out. You can watch the YouTube stream. That is mostly there for the high quality VODs. But I mean, it used to be there just for the YouTube audience. But yeah, come watch the stream live. Fill out the form that is linked in the description. And yeah, you do need to be here to get help. You need to be here live to get help, because we then have an ongoing conversation. I figure out some things that aren't included in the form because it's too many fields at that point. The form gets a little too long, and we don't want that. And sometimes those questions are unnecessary. So yeah, the flexible questions we kind of just don't keep in there. And I'll be able to help out for free with finding a pre-built, or helping you put together a parts list for a DIY build that is based on your needs and budget. Now, aside from that, we still have a ladder to climb. That is a ranked ladder in TCG Live. And I realized in the last ladder, the previous one, which is the first one I ever did, that these are the fun times. Climbing the ladder is the fun times. Once you're in the Master League, it is all out war, and you do not know what you're going to come in like run into there. What kind of weird deck that you've never heard of before, but has been in the meta forever, or like just continues coming back, or this is a new one and check it out. Look, watch how it destroys you. That kind of thing. It's really rough once you get to that point. It's still fun. That is still fun. It's a different kind of fun. I'm not the masochistic type, I'll be honest. So maybe it's not my kind of fun, but hey, it's okay. I feel like y'all, those of you who are here often, you have seen me straight up rage quit, nearly rage quitting the stream, but like rage quitting the game for sure. because there are some decks out there that are just straight up Schadenfreude generators for the person playing that deck. They just want to enjoy someone else's misery. And it works. They work. They really work. Oh boy, do they work. I don't know. The thing is, when it comes to playing a new game, the best games are easy to learn and difficult to master. Pokemon TCG is a 100% in that realm and has been for 30 years. So there are people who've been playing this game for decades who will then be there in that master rank, by the way, ready to chew you up, spit you out just for a few points so they can climb a little higher in their ELO. So it's fun. It's definitely fun. It's different though. It's I don't know. We'll see. There's a reason that I don't usually compete in things. I say it's because I'm not competitive, but honestly, it might be because I'm a little too competitive. Like, I have this, like most people do, a desire to be good at stuff. Doesn't always come true though. It was worth it to spend a weekend with all my friends at Offkai Convention though. Heart is so full of joy and wonder. That's fantastic. That sounds awesome. I'm glad you got to do that. Davilo9 says, hello, hola, bonjour, ni hao, konnichiwa. Hi, what's up? Greetings, bienvenue. It's been a hot minute since being in the swarm room. What's up, Alucard? How's it going? How the heck are you, buddy? Come on, see. What's up, Chris? How you doing? Natty. Oh, yeah, by the way, I uploaded a proof of concept of sorts to the Pokemon folder if you'd like to check it out later on. Yeah, for real. For sure. I actually was going to message you, Natty, because I realized what, and I think I spoke of this in our group chat a little bit, but this is the time right now while we're sort of letting Onware handle stuff, where it is prime time to sort everything. And I've realized you're very good at this. Sort everything in terms of, like, you know, the updates tab on the in the spreadsheet, you know, like, okay, this video's for that, you know, for that session, for this session, for this session, and then put the link there to a folder, to the Dropbox folder next to each one of those entries. It might be the time to do that, just so that when we're ready to rock, we're rocking, and probably a little bit of rolling too, rocking and rolling. But yeah, I can take a look at that for sure. I need that deck. I'm not okay. I mean, if that's up your alley, they're out there for sure. You can find pre-set up ones like that. Lone Wolf, what's going on? Welcome. How you doing? Doing good. Doing good. Doing good. Feeling good. Rurutu says happy Taco Tuesday. We had roast actually, so. But you know what? We didn't have the rolls for it. So you know what we did? We used some good flour tortillas sourced locally here. So guess what? We had roast tacos for Taco Tuesday. So there you go. I really should have gotten my salsa verde for that. Oh, that would have been good. I'm going to do that tomorrow. That's the best thing about roast is, you know, you get your crock pot, make your roast, got all your veggies in there, all the great, it's so good. And then you have roast for a few days and you just have different ways of having it. So, yeah, we're going to do that over the next couple days and it's going to be delicious. Been busy and tired due to work and life changes. Luckily, have PTO tonight, but needed to fix a customer's PC with issues. When I got it, the case ended up damaged and the GPU died during shipping. Oh, God. Oh, that sucks. But know any good alcohol wipes to use for PC parts? Have to clean some fans, a bad case, and an AIO radiator. What you do is you use, you get some really good cleaning pads, like cotton pads that don't shed, basically. And you just use very, you know, high percentage alcohol, you know, IPA, isopropyl alcohol. That's it. That's what I do, really. I don't use wipes because they can, like, it's some unnecessary waste that way. They can dry up, which I really hate if I don't close them up exactly right. It's just it's not really. Over the years, I found that preset pre-made wipes are just not really worth it. So I just use, really good cotton pads and just some isopropyl alcohol, high percentage, and that has never steered me wrong. But I know, all right, have to clean some fans, a bad case, and an AIO radiator. You are in for it, and this is your PTO. Jeez, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I'm neck deep in some unfortunate cable mat, very complicated. I don't know. I feel like I want to just change out the fans on this PC to just some daisy chain ones. It would be so much easier, and I have some, so I might just end up doing that. They'll be quieter too, which would be good. I think I might do that. It's just so many fan cables. Too many. So many. Oh my god. And I've got some Fantex ones that I can use. I should just do that. Do I have enough reverse flow ones? I think I would just need 4. I would need 4. I think I have 4. Anyway, if only Montech can sell the fans like the ones that's in the TG3. I gotta look at that. I should take out all my Corsair fans. No more RGB. You could also unplug the RGB on your Corsair fans or turn it to 0 brightness. Because functionally, they're still good fans. The downside is, if you're trying to black out your build, formerly RGB fans that are still RGB, just don't have it turned on, they're not black. They're going to be off-white, at least on the fan blades or wherever there was RGB. And if that bothers you, then yeah, sure. Right now, fans are not, knocking on wood right here, but fans are not subject to the massive price increases. So, yeah. 2 out of 10 of them failed within a year. Well, that's unfortunate. Could have been a bad batch. I mean, I've seen that happen to all brands of fans. If it runs electricity through it, it can fail, unfortunately. Corsair charges a dear price for their products, but they're generally pretty solid. I mean, I've seen like their AIOs are not going to be on top of the charts. Their pricing seems to think it is, but definitely above the average in terms of performance and reliability. Just not at the peak or anything. Which, again, the pricing should have, it should be at the peak for what they're charging for it. But there are a ton of options out there that are very, very good and very low cost. Arctic comes to mind. TG3 is becoming one of the newest popular ATX cases for the price. I have one and we'll be doing a case swap to the customer's build as well as a GPU swap. Luckily, I have an extra 3080 to go with the user's build. Yeah, that is very, very lucky. Oh, man. And then you can hold on to that one and see if it's something repairable. But if it's a crack in the PCB or something from really poor handling, there is no fixing that. There is no fixing that. Doing well, feel spoiled. My friend bought me some computer parts recently. Oh, wow. As a birthday present for a new build. Not sure how good the motherboard model is, but it looks pricey. Motherboards, it's funny because the motherboards are probably one of the weirdest parts to buy for your PC. They have all these little odd things about them, right? Like, for one thing, if you go to the bottom price of motherboards, you get very little I/O. If you go to mid-tier, you get a ton of I/O. And then sometimes when you go higher than that, you get sometimes fewer USB ports on the back. It's weird. But maybe they're faster, but there's fewer of them. There's just little weird things like that. The funniest thing about motherboards to me will always be the, how many power phases you've got, VRMs and all that, versus how much cooling they get. Because the fewer you have, the hotter they get. But generally, for cheaper motherboards that have fewer power phases and just less power delivery in general, it has less cooling on it as well. Less material used in VRM cooling, if any. It's ridiculous. It really is one of those things that just really bothers me. Some of these higher end motherboards, literally, you could just, not literally, okay, figuratively. You could just like put on a cheap heatsink off of Amazon on there with some thermal adhesive. Bam, just put that on there. And it would cool perfectly because they stay so much cooler because they're much better quality VRMs, and they also split the load more. So they just stay cooler. It's crazy. But they have these giant heat sinks on the higher end motherboards, as if they got any work to do at all. If you're not doing extreme overclocking. Weed Mommy, welcome in. New here, what's up? Well, what is up is we have a mixed stream where I can either help people with PCs who need it, like if you're looking for a PC and you're trying to find some kind of deal in this terrible landscape right now where everything is, well, a lot of the parts are 3-4 times their original price. And I help for free. If you fill out a form, I do that. Or, I mean, and the other thing we're doing is we're going to play some TCG Live, Pokemon TCG Live. And maybe if I do well, I think I'll reward myself by ripping some packs. So kind of a lot going on, while also not as much going on. ROG Strix X870E-E Neo. That one might have been at Computex. I wasn't there this year, so I wouldn't have seen it. Why does that look weird? Why does that look weird? Hold on, let me fix that. Fixed it. Also, I realized I didn't have my preview monitor up, and there it is. All right. AIOs perform the same within 3 to 5 Celsius these days. Yeah, just the bells and whistles of LCD screen and fans separate them. The thing is, Rurutu, if you look at the averages, which is where they normally get those numbers, it'll look that way. But there are certain things that can sort of affect those. Like, what is affecting those averages? Well, if you look at something like Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 with a thicker radiator, higher volume of liquid, it handles heat spikes better than a standard 25 millimeter thick radiator or so. So yeah, there's things like that sometimes you want to pay attention to. But yeah, generally for the average person, the average numbers are more than fine. I usually clean dust with a soft brush and vacuum cleaner hybrid. What's up, Astral? How's it going? Welcome. It does not post in any system. I tried it. I'm thinking I might send that one along with others I have to Northridge fix or something to see if it can fix them all. Alucard, I am going to ask you a question, and I don't want, like, this is just one of those things where it's like, if you call in for service with your ISP, like your internet's down, they're going to be like, did you try turning it off and on again? But is it a dual BIOS GPU? I don't think that's going to have anything to do with the fact that it was maybe damaged in shipping, but also things like loose fan connectors on the PCB, things like that. If those are acting up, it could cause a problem. I don't know. I really don't know. The last thing you want, though, well, I mean, maybe not, depending on the price of the motherboard. Maybe a damaged PCIe slot. Try it in a different PCIe slot. But you don't need me to tell you this stuff. You know what you're doing. Your USB, maybe more NVMe slots. Yeah, I mean, they change things up. It really depends on the purpose of the motherboard. I currently have a B550, so not sure what the difference is, but I'm intrigued to learn. Well, I mean, you can tell it's gonna have a lot more features than any B series motherboard. Perhaps because based on your use case, perhaps a bunch that you don't need, but still, it's good to have them. Just better to have it and not need it than the other way around. My interest, every time I look at motherboards, the first place I look is right here, and this is very good. Every single USB Type A and Type C is at least 10 gigabit per second or higher, which with all these red ones being 10 gigabit per second, this USB-C being 10 gigabit, both of these being 10 gigabit per second, with this one apparently having some kind of fast charging. And these are both USB 4 at 40 gigabits per second, 5 gig Ethernet port, Wi-Fi 7. This kind of has everything you could possibly want. And then you look at things like how many drives can it hold? If your use case, like whatever you're using your PC for, is very storage intensive. So if we go here and we go to storage, you have 5 M.2 slots. Now, one of those is sharing bandwidth. Actually, 2 of them share bandwidth. So really, you have 3 that you can use before you have to think about anything. So your USB 4 ports that were on the back, the Type-C USB 4, 40 gigabit per second, share bandwidth with the M.2_2. So the second M.2 slot shares bandwidth. And then the third M.2 slot shares bandwidth with one of the PCIe slots. So that is, if you put an M.2 into the third M.2 socket there, it disables G4, so I guess the fourth PCIe slot. Let's take a look. How are there 4? There's just 2. So this, if you're going to use this for something like, oh, I don't know, one of these to add more USB ports, right? Then you're going to be disabling your third M.2 slot, but you still have 2 extra ones after that. I'm not including, of course, your boot drive that goes right here. So this is what I'm talking about with higher end motherboards. It's like they try to do too much. Now, is that a bad thing? It has that flexibility. You might never need a PCIe add-in card, but maybe you need both for some reason. I don't see how that could be the case, but it's still a really, really nice motherboard. I'm decently impressed here. Okay, single USB Type-C front panel. USB 3.0 is a single one. So this isn't one of those like off-the-wall, crazy, over-the-top motherboards, but it's still very good. My wallet hurts looking at that motherboard. My wallet hurts looking at any PC parts these days. If we look at just the Google search, we'll have some prices. About $600. I don't think I would say $600 is appropriate for what we're looking at here, but it's what it is. It just bothers me that on a board like this, I know that they prioritize storage, but I would rather that they just gave you an additional PCIe slot instead of having these ones that share bandwidth. I don't know. Let's look at those though. Not gallery, tech specs. We go back to tech specs. We go to expansion slots here. Here we go. So you have PCIe X16 supports. Okay. Why is this acting like it's got 4? It just shows 2, the primary and the bottom one. Oh, it's because for different processors. Okay. Whatever. That's for different processors. It's very confusing the way they show it. This is from your processor. You have the primary top PCIe slot, and this is from the chipset. You have the other X16 slot, which thankfully does support X4, 4 channels of PCIe Gen 4. That's what this one would need right here. Or if you're using a capture card with a lot of HDMI inputs or things like that that are a little more demanding, those extra lanes will come in handy. This uses a 4-lane setup right here to give you up to 10 gigabit per second. So yeah. Yeah, Strix Tax is going crazy here. It's very bad. Now, we do have to acknowledge something. Motherboards are slowly getting a little bit more expensive. And, well, first off, after the pandemic, motherboards shot up in price and never came down once they saw what we were willing to pay for them. You used to be able to spend $120 and get a very solid motherboard. I am not exaggerating. And you've only got, you're not going to find good, cheap motherboards from Asus anymore. They made sure of that. There are entry-level Asus motherboards, but those are like mid-tier motherboards from any other brand if you're looking at the price. So Asus, by definition there, kind of invalidates their own more entry-level products because you're way better off going with any other brand. You're getting a lot more features for the same amount of money. Now, once you start getting up to this price, you'll find that all motherboard manufacturers have motherboards around the $500-600 price tag. That is crazy to an old builder like me. But I'm unfortunately getting used to it. But if you're looking at other brands, you can get a lot more for your dough. There's probably a Gigabyte motherboard out there, an MSI motherboard out there, that's going to have pretty much most of these features for half the price. But I mean, if you like Asus products, if you're using a Corsair case with Corsair fans, hey, Asus has that integration with IQ. If you are using an Asus GPU, you know, there's certain reasons you might want to do it. They can no longer, Asus kind of has taken some hits over the last few years, self-imposed hits, of course, where they used to be like, hey, we build the best products, we don't have problems, our stuff is built amazingly and perfectly. And then they had a capacitor that they put backwards on a whole bunch of flagship motherboards that were, of course, burning up because of that. Not burning as in catching fire, but stopping their functionality and burning out a cap. They can't point out and say, hey, we have the best customer service. They have proven time and time again. They don't, but they have made some changes and promises that they're going to be fixing that stuff. Now, you should never buy something based on a promise, but also, in your case, Lone Wolf, you should never look a gift horse in the mouth. There is no manufacturer of PC parts out there that has a perfect RMA program. There was one, but EVGA stopped making GPUs. What are you going to do? At this point now, it's just like, pick your poison. Some are slightly better than others, but none of them, I would say, have a good RMA program setup. I mean, you and don't even think about RMA. Well, I guess Newegg for the last couple of years has been on their best behavior ever since they got absolutely gobsmacked by Gamers Nexus. God, that was like, I don't care how you feel about Gamers Nexus. That was just Chad moves from start to finish, where they're like, hey, we're here at Newegg. Hi, Newegg. Let's sit down and talk on camera. And Newegg was like, okay, everybody ready with all your corporate speech? Like, they still after that, they changed policies. They did a lot better. I still don't trust them, but that's my opinion. He got me a GPU to 9070 XT is good. That's good. 9070 XT is awesome. That's peak 1440p gaming all day long. You're going to stretch it a bit if you try to go 4K, but most gamers don't go 4K. 1440p is the perfect middle ground of resolution and frame rate. Just go with that, and you'll be golden. 9070 XT is awesome. FSR 4 is great. I'm holding on to a 9070 XT right now for the purple build that I've been putting off for a long time. But now that I have made some space in here, I can finally make this, get the setup going to do a PC build stream that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, because I've had the purple X50 just sitting there in its box for months now. And in the meantime, guess what? I don't know if you saw this, Alucard. Have you seen the new height case that came out, Computex? It's basically a Y series case, but without the required vertical GPU and half height PCIe slots. It's amazing. Amazing. They actually did it. The Mad Lads. I don't like Armory Crate. That's not a hot take, I would say. I don't think many people do. I got some good deals on 1440p 180 hertz monitors. Rurutu, you were here, right? While I was talking about not trusting Newegg. That's me. That's my, like, I'm now, if it's a monitor, that's different. That's different. A monitor's different. But like, literally, they tried to scam Steve of Gamers Nexus. Like, he got scammed. That's crazy. Like, the content writes itself. It was absolutely bonkers. So happy that that happened, kind of. Is that weird to say? I don't think it's weird to say. Mystic Tryhards, what's up? Hey, what do you think of a 4080 Super Expert and 9800X3D? Well, the first one is a GPU, Mystic, and the second one is a CPU. Okay, so what I mean by that is, what do you mean, what do I think of them? Like, for what? For gaming at 1440p, 4K, for video editing? What are we talking about here? Could be great, could be not ideal. Depends on what it's being used for. Also, there is generally a feeling of, hey, CPU and GPU is all that matters. Like, I hear things like that all the time. Rest of the system matters too. If you put that 9800X 3D on a bargain bin motherboard, it's not going to get its full performance. If you don't power that 4080 Super properly, it could have issues. So power supplies are important too. All kinds of stuff. If you do all of that, if you get a great motherboard, by the way, motherboards are more important than most people would think. If you get a great motherboard, 4080 Super, awesome GPU, sure. 9800X 3D, one of the best gaming CPUs on the market. Solid power supply, can power everything, you know. Cybernetics Platinum, you know, 80 plus gold, all the good stuff, fully modular. And then you cheap out on the storage. Your OS is going to run like it has bad storage and slow storage. Like if you create a weak link, it doesn't matter what CPU and GPU you have if you don't give them, like it doesn't matter what kind of supercar you have if you don't give it the right road to drive on. You know what I mean? Or if you have that, it doesn't matter what engine's in your car if you don't have good tires. I don't know. That analogy is falling apart a little bit, but you get what I'm saying. So 2 things. What are the rest of the parts we're talking about? And what are you using the PC for? If you're going to ask that question, you got to get more info. Lots of built-in MOBO software are just painful at points. Yeah. I mean, look, Rurutu, you can say you don't like Armory Crate, but have you tried using Gigabyte's RGB Fusion 2.0? Good Lord. Armory Crate tries to do too much. RGB Fusion can barely do RGB. There is no middle ground, apparently, by the way. Forget 1440p gaming. That's overkill for 1440p gaming, Mystic, but it'll do the job. It'll like it's overkill, meaning it's more than enough. Let me explain why. 4080 Super more aimed towards 4K gaming, right? But yeah, I mean it's at this point the 4080 Super is what date did that launch? Well, I mean it's just a slight improvement. It's a very slight improvement over a 4080. So 4080 launch date. Okay, so the 4080 Super was a slight improvement over the 4080, which was launched in 2022. So it's a 4-year-old GPU. So it's good to have overkill based on what the original intent was, because games, they keep getting harder to run, right? So you'll be right. You might be right there for really high-end 1440p gaming. Now the CPU, there's a handful of games that are an exception to what I'm about to say. One of them is very popular. It's Call of Duty. So if you're playing that, you're good. But for the vast majority of games, once you get away from 1080p and you go to a higher resolution, the CPU, not as important. You can go ahead and play any game you want, run MSI Afterburner, and have Riva Tuner statistics on your screen, and watch that CPU sit at 5 to 10% usage while your GPU is pinned at 100. When you go to higher resolution, it's GPU rendering pixels. And that's a lot more pixels once you go from 1080p to 1440p, right? And that means fewer frames per second for the CPU to sort and get in front of you and do CPU things, calculations, things like that. So, ergo, that means when you get to higher resolutions, the way to summarize all of this, at higher resolutions, your CPU is not as necessary. So you might not see much of a benefit from the 9800X 3D versus something like a 9700X. But it'll be marginal. There'll be a marginal improvement on that. Here's the proof, okay? I don't even need to have you go and test anything. Go watch the reviews for the 9800X 3D when that thing launched. And notice what resolution they use for almost every chart. 1080p. Why is that? Well, because when you go to a higher resolution, there's like no difference in the bars on that chart from CPU to CPU. They're right neck and neck because it's not the CPU's job anymore at that point. So if you got a good deal on it, you're good. You're golden. If you paid full price, you may have paid a couple $100 more than you needed to for the CPU, just because it has that name, that title of being the best gaming CPU on the market. Well, if you're not gaming at 1080p competitively, it doesn't matter a whole lot. Now, I mentioned at the start of that whole rant, not a rant really, just an explanation, that there are a handful of games where even at higher resolutions, your CPU still matters. Call of Duty is one. Rust is another one, from what I hear. There are RTS, real-time strategy games, that rely heavily upon CPU calculations for every unit to do all their things per turn and everything. Notoriously, Microsoft Flight Simulator is very CPU heavy. So if you're playing any of those games, and there's a few more, of course, then yeah, money well spent on that CPU, and you're good. If you're not playing those games, well, playing one of them at least would address the sunk cost fallacy. You could play one of those games and be like, okay, good, I'm getting good use out of this 9800X3D. And my problem with the 9800X3D is that it is like, I'm using it right now for one thing, by the way, in the PC that I'm doing all of this on right now that you're watching this stream, I'm using a 9800X3D. What I loved about it was, compared to the 7800X3D, they vastly improved thermals, and they improved its performance in productivity stuff that wasn't gaming. For a gaming CPU? Well, yeah, there is really no such thing as a gaming CPU. It's kind of an oxymoron. Your GPU is where graphics happen. That is the gaming part, for the most part. CPUs just need to take that info from the GPU and do some nominal work with it, like do what it's got to do. But for those out there on the stage at an esports tournament, something like that, they actually can use a 9800X3D. So if you game competitively, if you do stuff like that, yeah, it's like exactly what you need. Like if you're, I don't know, Shroud. Yep, there you go. That's the thing you need. So I saw a Meta PC short recently. They were saying, does the GPU brand actually matter? Zach said yes. Well, I mean, it does matter if a certain brand is having known issues, consistent issues with quality or supporting RMAs, supporting their customers. Yeah. It's funny because that would actually make people, I mean, if more people took that seriously, they'd buy from ASUS less frequently. But in terms of quality, yeah, generally ASUS is up there. But there are brands that people ignore because of brand recognition stuff, right? PNY is a huge thing. PNY GPUs are very good, mostly from 40 series on. They started taking the consumer GPUs more seriously then. But I'd never heard of PNY. What do you mean? I thought they just made like SSDs and stuff. Well, PNY has been making, like, ever since it was NVIDIA Quadro GPUs. It was PNY making that. Enterprise GPUs for businesses, like someone doing geological surveys, they need some real horsepower. And that's what those would do. They've been building very high quality GPUs for a very long time. So that's when the brand does matter. But do you know enough about brands to go that route? That would be my answer to that question. In fact, I don't know. I haven't been doing the tech content thing lately, but at CES, I got to chatting, with Zach and Kyle over there from Meta PCs, and chatting about, at some point, they were like, dude, you got to come by. You got to travel up here. Like, you're in Texas. Come on. And we'll do some content together. And I think if I ever did do that, that would be a fun one to do. That would be a fun one. I'm also running a 1300 watt PSU. Well, that's more than enough for a 4080 Super. Generally, 4080 Super, I'd put it at 1000 watts. So you're good. You have that extra overhead. PNY was server enterprise grade. They only started gaming components from the 30 series if you're able to get one. Yeah, but once the thing, Alucard, they were one of the two companies that seriously jumped in and changed their game when EVGA left the market right before 40 series. and that was the other was Zotac. Zotac was making decent GPUs. They went from that to making great GPUs. So PNY and Zotac really upped their game and really just kind of pushed into the market at that time. Might as well do some content with them. Zach from ZTT, and now Dan Cambuno made content with. Yeah, they've been doing collab content forever. Yeah. Those esports tourney play on internal server with less than 2 milliseconds latency. There are some examples, Rurutu, where that is the setup. There are also client server setups. I mean, yeah, that so okay. So okay. I get what you're saying. You're saying that they're not going out to a regional server. They're playing on a server. Yes, that's true. But still, like, the PC has to process all of that data. So that changes some things. It changes latency pretty much as the main thing, right? But as in terms of performance, it's still the PC is doing the performing. Bone Shock, do not worry. You're fine. I was 20 minutes late. You're good. I need a 9950X3D for my 3D Minesweeper. You need Minesweeper to come on and turn off half of your CPU cores. Absolutely. Alucard, I am excited for Nova Lake. I'm excited for Nova Lake. I don't know if I'm wrong to be excited for it, but 52 cores on the flagship CPU is crazy, and I want it because you have that plus QuickSync. Man, it's going to chew up some video timelines. But no, the main thing, Alucard, the main reason I would even want to do that is just because I get along really well with those guys. Like, we just jam every time we hang out at like CES. We're just like going back and forth on stuff. It's really, they're awesome. They're really, really cool. And they're very good at what they do. Zach is crazy with his content. Like, he just blew up with the short form content. I don't have a short form content brain like that. You know, it just absolutely exploded. But he's got a whole team working on that stuff. It like, yeah. You know, I realized that I've been stressing over editing these shorts because my background comes from Soviet Womble, Captain Disillusion, and Russian Badger, where it's like maximum effort, 3D objects, super intense VFX, and these are like shorts. They're going to be edited in a more simple and quicker way. I need to get that out of that headspace. That's why I'm not short form content brained. Yeah, I'm used to, I'm making, if it's not the A camera, A roll right here, if I'm doing a montage with B-roll, I will rearrange my entire house to do it. And then I will spend days on a montage. I would back then. Just because I watch content where they do that kind of thing, you know? And I got to get out of that headspace. Basically, I understand what you're saying. And we're looking for this, for short form, it is quantity over quality, because as long as this quality is good, as in the footage that is your source, it can be simple videos. It doesn't have to have that. Like, we're not trying to hide the fact that we don't have good content, because I feel like we do have good content. So don't worry about that. As a matter, I mean, honestly, we can have effects and things like that, presets that we make, assets that we make. We can do that. That's what Onward was going to be working on. The main thing to focus on really is just getting it to where we have a bunch of them ready to go once we have that. That's it. You don't have to do the Russian Badger thing. I love his content. I really do. I don't have a mocap suit, and I would look terrible in one anyway. Is that Intel CPU going to be 450 watts? I mean, it's not Threadripper. A good number of those cores are efficiency cores. Only 16 of them are performance cores, but that is double what we're used to. So, and at the same time, AMD's like, oh, we're going to put more cores per chiplet. We'll have like 24. What do you think about that? And then Intel is laughing in more than double cores. Now, it is not hyper-threaded, right? No. I mean, 52 cores, 52 threads. That's it. But that's still more than AMD is going to have, as far as we know now, anyway. So deciding on an NVMe for this new build. 2 terabytes is recommended for the main drive, right? 2 terabytes. 2 terabytes is what I would go with. And you can generally, if you don't have a million games that you might want to play at any given moment, and you just have like 5 games that you really like, 2 terabytes is more than enough. And in fact, 1 terabyte might be enough if it's not, if one of them, I keep bringing up Call of Duty. That game is just notorious for eating up your PC's resources, particularly storage. They have updates that are bigger than most games. It's ridiculous. They do not know the meaning of optimization whatsoever. You want to see optimization? Look at the download size of Helldivers 2. That is optimization. And there, it's not like that's a simple game. There's a lot going on there. I'm intrigued on Nova Lake, but I'm waiting to see what they give and how much they cost. The cost, I feel like they're actually going to come in hot on that. They're going to come in aggressive on the cost because I want that to happen. I was searching for my justification. I realized I don't have one. I just want it. I want that to be the case. We need that. Waiting for storage requirements for GTA 6. Rockstar is going to be like, come on. Are you really going to be playing any other games? So here's a thought that I had. And we're going to get to like, we're going to get to TCG Live here in a bit. I need to look at the list, make sure no one's filled out a form. Right? I mean, maybe. Hope springs eternal. I do love just jamming about PC parts. It is a good time. But hold on, let me just get this. Cool. Okay. What was I saying? I was getting the form up. Hold on 1 second. Do not log me out. Thank you. Man, it's been a year and a half since I changed the form. I really need to make a new one. I didn't make a new one for 2026, but of course it's a spreadsheet. I can go in and divide out that data. But yeah. Panther, you're filling out a form now, almost done. Are you going to be getting a PC within the next month? 200 gig base game, 150 gig for the side mode with 1 map, by the way. To be honest, I will give Rockstar some credit. They have always been pretty good with optimization. Yeah, that's not as much as I was expecting. That is far less than I was expecting, Natty. So we don't have them pull Bethesda or any other big game developer where you have one-day update patches among patches. Same-day patches, it's par for the course at this point. I mean, are you really a game dev if you're not putting up launch day patches? Oh, Alucard, do you want to see a neat trick? Hang on. I'm just going to go to the kitchen and get a drink real quick. Excuse me. Okay, got it. Can I need a TFS? Okay, that's what I had at first. Okay, I used the pop sound at first, but it's not like this is more of a reference if I'm using original sound. I'm fairly certain I was even using the same ES_mouth pop from Epidemic Sound that they were using. Here, listen to this. See? That's what I was using. What I need to do is I need to get like the animated lines, right? Like just for like a second, for like a couple frames right before I come back in. But yeah, I know that this does generally surprise people, but I'm on a green screen. I am. Because I've been testing and working on the green screen to get really, really good green screen footage. And as you can see, It's pretty good. This is the best green screen I know I've ever gotten. But it does let me do cool stuff like this for when someone does this, you know, drops a sub or something like that. I get to do, oh, hold on. The first time it has to load it in. There we go. I can do this whenever someone drops a sub or something. And it's really cool. You can tell how I'm like over the chat there. Yeah. Layers. Oh, Ben Jeezy, what's up? What's up, Barbarian? Not PC related, but can suggest below $50 or sub $100 item for mainly FPS and story games and music. An item? Oh, IEM. I misread that. The downside to how I have things right now is my chat monitor is a little bit far away. But these are the ones right here. I love these. These are the Truthier X Critical Zeros. They've been out for a little while now, and I know there's an updated version, but I haven't tried those. Here. If you just copy and paste that into Amazon or something, you'll find that these are $59.99. They are double dynamic driver IEMs. They look fantastic. They have sort of the purple nebula thing going on them. They're super comfortable. They sound amazing. For $59.99, it is the best investment you'll make for your ears, period. 9070 XT better than 4080 Super. Mystic, I think you meant to put that into Google, and you accidentally put it into my into the chat bar there. I haven't compared those two personally, but I'll do. I got you. Let me take a look here. No problem at all. Let me just look it up for you. I don't have like. Generally, that gets compared to the 5070 Ti. Rather than 40 series cards, but I've got, let me see if this is still relevant here. We go here to, of course, my boy Zach's Tech Turf has his build help here, and we can go to the GPU comparison charts. And if we look, 9070 XT right here, just under the 7900 XTX, which was a far more, well, 9070 XT is getting pricey, but the 4080 Super does beat it. But not by a ton, but then again, the 5080 is like right there. So 9070 XT right here, essentially. Just under the 5070 Ti, and this is by average. So this does not include stuff like, oh, this is, which one is this? Is this 1080p? This is 1440p Ultra right here. So yeah, 9070 XT is usually going to be cheaper than a 4080 Super. But it's hard to tell. I mean, 4080 Super, it's not something they're making anymore, I imagine. So prices on those could go up or down for that reason, generally up. But yeah, it's not better than it now. 7900 XTX is very close, by the way. However, it always comes back to use case. You're just gaming, so it really doesn't matter which one you get. I've heard off and on that like this game prefers AMD, this game prefers NVIDIA. I don't have that memorized, that's for sure. But when it comes to things like editing video or streaming, NVIDIA is just far more deeply entrenched into that landscape right there, into that those use cases. Basically, their encoding is better, although AMD's gets better every generation. Yeah, 4080 Super had dual encoders, AV1, all the good stuff, but so does the 9070 XT. Although it's not full dual encoders, you have AV1 encode and separate AV1 decode, all that good stuff, something like that. So, but you don't have to worry about that, because if you're just gaming, you're just concerned about gaming performance. I think the more relevant thing, rather than looking for an overall overarching kind of bit of information there, the more important thing, I think, would be What's the difference in your game? And you'll find that there are YouTube channels where people who just spend time testing games on different hardware will be like, okay, here we go. The latest Call of Duty on a 5070 Ti. Here's the latest Call of Duty, and just like 8 different GPUs tested in that one video, that kind of thing. So you look up what's better for your particular favorite game. I've never been the type where I have just a game that I play, but there are plenty of people out there who that's their thing. They're at work, they want to get off of work, go home and play blank game with their buddies, right? If that's you, you should prioritize that. See what GPU brand, what GPU like manufacturer works better with your game of choice. If you're more of a I play any game I want, any, whatever, then the general testing does come into play there. Benji, no problem. IEMs are awesome. I love these. I've been using these for 2.5 years now, since early 2023, I can say at least. So about 3 years, actually. 3 years. I love these things. And they came recommended by Bad Seed Tech. So, Benjeezy, here's what I'm going to do for you. If you want to hear from someone who specializes in these kinds of things, Bad Seed Tech. Brian, it's got you covered. Because he's probably got way more up-to-date suggestions than the ones that I made here. I can only suggest the ones that I've used, but he specializes in peripherals and audio stuff. So, yeah. I found a brand new pair of Sony XM5 headphones for $120 at a pawn shop. They're great. I don't regret buying them. XM5s are great. 100%. Did you know? I'll bet you didn't know this, but you've probably, if you haven't been here for a while, you might notice that I have kind of the most baller microphone you've ever seen. And thank you. I agree. But the company that paints these, that does these custom automotive grade quality paint jobs, they also do other things. And I'm not sponsored by these guys, though I would love to be. They're colorware. They do controllers, speakers, headphones. I mean, heck, even cases for, wireless earbuds, Ridge wallets. I have a SM58 from them. Hold on. I got it right here. This is for my green screen footage where I want to be holding a microphone that is just as cool as this one. And you customize every piece of it with whatever color you want. Now, the reason I bring this up is, let's go to products here, and we'll go to, they have the AirPods Max, if you like that kind of thing. They got Bose headphones, and where are they? The new XM6s. Now, of course, there's only so much they can paint here, but there's like the base headset, platinum or black. I got the black ones, so that would be this. And you go to next, and bam, look at that. You could even have a different color for the other side if you want. You can go matte too if you want to. Matte finish. I think that looks absolutely sick. Just, yeah. Is it $500 for this? Yes. They're already expensive headphones, and you're getting an insanely high quality paint job on it. I mean, here's the detail. Check this out. I mean, this is like a color changing automotive quality paint job on this. So, yeah, they do mice, they do controllers, they do all kinds of stuff. You can see why I'd be like, I mean, I wouldn't mind being sponsored by them, but I'm not. Anyways. Okay, you're on the list. Awesome. Okay. I can go up to 200 more for my max budget, going for pre-built because they offer a better price for the features I currently want and need. Got it. Okay. TL Foreman, what's up? How's it going? Okay. I still to this day I don't know why these two entries keep being put after new entries here. I might just have to delete them or something. I've moved them up, but it just keeps moving them back down. I don't get it. But either way, we get to help with the PC. That's awesome. Okay. Okay, so when you say you can go up to 200 more for your max budget, Panther, you mean you can go to 2200? Gaming, streaming, content creation, and video editing at 1440p. Power GPU, Alexander PC. Okay, so a bunch of different ones. The builder that was in chat and helped you with a custom build from him, that was Stints, Jeff Stints from Stints Built. Jeff Stinson, I should say. Let's go take a look at his site. So if you're going to be doing, you've heard me do these some of these already. If you're just gaming, this is easy. But once you start adding streaming, content creation / video editing, all those things, you have to start worrying about things like your motherboard, your RAM capacity, which is the big cost factor here now. There are plenty of builds out there now where the RAM is more expensive, is more valuable than the GPU at this point, which is bonkers. Okay, let me just edit this here because that is not accurate at the moment. Let's just fix that. Got it. Not too much RGB. Okay. And it feels so out of sorts doing this stuff now. Let's go check Stints Built. Now, you mentioned here that you were more interested in boutique than price to performance. I do feel like price to performance is going to be more important here. That's going to be the way to go, just because it's not just gaming. Gaming at 1440p for $2,200, easy. A video editing workstation and gaming PC at the same time, plus needing the USB ports available for a streaming PC. For that, you're going to probably need to go price to performance. But let's see what they've got here for around that price tag. Because Stints Built is on the boutique side of things, where you'll generally pay a bit more for what you're getting than you would elsewhere at, like, say, Skytech. But there are definite benefits to it. Let's look at their signature series and see where they're at. So if we're looking at 2200. Now, I do have a discount code here too. So whatever we're seeing here, that is going to be a little different. But I'm seeing 7800 X3D, 32 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, and a 5070. 1440p gaming all day long, but it's not really going to be suitable for streaming and content creation. The streaming side, I'd need to see what motherboard is going in there. Let's see if we go to select options, if it'll tell us what that is. And it's a B650M, meaning if we edit this to be a more feature-rich motherboard, it's going to cost more. And it's still an MATX motherboard in a full ATX case. I need to talk to Jeff about that. I do not approve of that. Can't sign off on that unless this is an MATX case. It looks like it is an MATX case. Is this just an MATX version of a full ATX case? Interesting. What is the... No, it's the V100R. That isn't a full ATX case. What the heck am I seeing here? Oh, it's the MATX, the Mini. Idiot. Just keep reading one more word, buddy. That's my bad. Okay. Right. So, let's check out what's been going on with Alexander PCs. Ooh, look at that front page. Very nice, TJ. Look at that. You got this blended in sort of, well, it says it shifts, but The slow animation. Wait, what is going on with this? That is interesting. Is that an LCD panel on that or something? What is he doing? I don't know. I'm going to have to ask him about that. Okay, so around the same price, if not a little bit more, but even a little bit more scaled down. Same 7800X 3D. Amazing for gaming, but once you start getting to productivity stuff, it does fall off. That's where the 9800X 3D kind of kicked in and did its thing. 5060 Ti 16 gig instead of the 5070. That extra VRAM can be helpful, but it's not quite what we're looking for. So let's look at their pre-configured models. And there's not really one that's exactly in that price range. That breaks my heart. Ultra 5 250K Plus is definitely a good choice. So here's where we have to think about this, right? First, I need to look at the forum for a very important question. And you said you are not interested in upgrading your CPU over time. Well, boy, let me tell you, you are Intel's perfect customer then. And if you're trying to do gaming and video editing, content creation, it kind of doesn't get better than Intel. I have a 265K myself in my main editing PC. Not even not even the Core Ultra 9, Core Ultra 7. WX, what's up, buddy? How's it going? VR100R Mini, that looks sweet. Post Malone might buy that case, since it will match his One Ring MTG card, or buy that PC. I would suggest that, yeah. Why isn't any 50 series the best on the market? It depends on context. There are some games that seemingly run better on AMD hardware than NVIDIA hardware for the GPU. So that would mean that maybe it's not as good for the price. It's always has to do with the budget and what you're using it for. Always. But what I'm talking about though is not the GPU. I'm talking about the CPU, the processor. That's why I'm saying Intel, not the GPU, the processor. I have a 2060, so isn't a 50 series the best out there right now? You're talking about the graphics card. When I say Intel and 265K and all that, I'm talking about the CPU, the processor, not the GPU. So like, not the big thing with the fans on it, but this little guy right here, CPU. You mean the graphics card? Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. If you get 5% better performance out of an equivalent 50 series card, but it costs $400 more or something, is it the best? Or did they price it out of being the best? Because NVIDIA is way too in love with their own AI and their own technology, and they're overpricing everything and pricing their own customers out of the market. They launched a $2,000 GPU for the average consumer with 50 series. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. On the other hand, yeah, 50 series at its price point, when it's not massively inflated like it is right now, is generally overall the best in the market. Yes. But yeah, it all has to do with context. So anyways, you don't care about your upgrading your CPU over time. And if you're going to be doing, so Panther, this is for you. If you're going to be doing gaming, streaming, and video editing, something like a 9800X 3D would be great for the gaming and streaming stuff. That's what I'm using right now, is a 9800X 3D for gaming and streaming, right? Once you get to video editing, though, like any serious video editing, it's going to be left in the dust by Intel, like every time, because of QuickSync, just in general, plus core count. Core count matters when it comes to programs like Adobe Premiere Pro. So, anyway, like here's the example. Okay, I had it here. Where it is? Okay, there it is. Open a new tab. There we go. Let's say Adobe Premiere Pro. Here we go. As an example, an industry standard software. There you go. Yeah. So the Core Ultra 265K, Core Ultra 7 265K. At the time that this was published, Running about 270 bucks, 280, 270. And down here is a 9800X3D, which is a better gaming CPU. This is like $480. And it sure isn't sharing second place like the 265K is. That's why I chose this CPU, because I was spending my own money to get it. You could even go up to a 285K, but now there's like 270 KP, which is like a boost over this, and it's even better for that stuff. So yeah, Intel's Core Ultra 200S was unfortunately review bombed early on. I have a lot of respect for my peers in the tech space, but there are some times where they're just off the mark. Off the mark completely. Where all they do is they'll have a 45-minute video and like 90% of it is 1080p gaming tests. And they're like, oh yeah, productivity, sure. Because that's all people do on computers, right? Just gaming. No. Oh, and just gaming at 1080p, by the way. They'll basically take 1080p gaming numbers and call a CPU absolute garbage because it doesn't post up the top of the list numbers. It's really, really unfortunate. $32 gigs RAM is recommended nowadays, right? Yeah. Yeah, 32 gigs is fine if you're mostly gaming. Yeah, if you're just gaming. Linearly Vector V100. Heard Zach from ZTT say that case is so worth buying. I thought about it. It is very good if you need a case like that, if you do need a case. The pricing is awesome. The design is really nice, and it comes with the fans included, including reverse flow fans to make it look even better. So yeah, it's quite a nice case. I've recommended it quite a few times. Okay. Right, where was I? So yeah, I looked at Alexander PCs. There's just not anything that seems to be in the price range, in the right price range. Yeah, because you can buff up the GPU in here to like 5060 Ti 16 gig. I wouldn't do the 8 gig. 5060 Ti 16 gig. Hell yeah, all day long. But that makes it $2578. That's just the pricing for boutique builders right now. They don't buy in the same quantities that high volume sellers do. So distributors are just absolutely price gouging our favorite builders. This is why I can't make PC videos anymore. I can't not rant about this. It is so upsetting. It is like, that is putting it mildly, as you can imagine. So this is where we would then move over to a high volume seller, and basically, regardless of what's going on with different build companies, that doesn't make money magically appear in your wallet that allows you to pay their prices for what you genuinely need for your PC. We got to be realistic about that. What did you say for the color? Probably in black, right? Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah, we got to do what we got to do. Like, if I look at the specs and I look back at this and look at the things you want to do and the resolution at which you want to do those things, and these specs don't meet that, we got to look at something else. So we go here, we sort by price low to high, and then we can go here and adjust our price bracket here. And already, starting off with an Intel Core Ultra 9 285K, right off the rip. Look at that. It's a pretty striking looking PC, though. It's not in black like you were requesting there. I see a lot of 14th gen Intel, though. What is the deal with that? Let's keep browsing, keep browsing. They got a lot of options here. Okay, well, we seem to have run out of options. I really like the look of this. That is super sick. I like that color combo. It's really nice. But 7800X 3D, nah. Not for video editing. Like, I would take the step down to a 5070 versus a 5070 Ti, even with 12 gigs of VRAM, I know that, but to get a 9800X 3D instead. And that's because of stuff like this. Like, you look here, where's the 7800X 3D? It's not even on the chart. But the 9800X 3D is hanging out here very close to the 9900X. So, I mean, that is an upgrade. But I would prefer to put you on that Core Ultra 9 that we saw earlier. Even if the case isn't quite what you were imagining, the 9070 XT is not the ideal when it comes to video editing, but it definitely does a job. And it works quite well if you're using something like DaVinci Resolve, if you're going that route. Yonoko, what's up? What did I just drop into? What got under Bray's skin? The global shortages caused by billionaire tech bros. And the consumer, as usual, gets a short end of the stick. And also, boutique builders are not having a good time with this, with some PC companies having to shut their doors at this point already. I think we're up to 3 now. Raytheon RGB is not required. Yes, about price to performance. I want to consider AM4, AM5, or an Intel CPU that gives the best performance and meets my needs. I do only want to consider full ATX. That's what I would do, ATX. Option to upgrade my CPU, but realize I may not be able to afford that luxury at this time. For GPU, I'm most interested in 9070 XT. Hey! Now, if this part, where you chose a black PC, if that is negotiable, this thing is $1,800. Look at this. I would say that there are 2 downsides to this. But on the other hand, there are definite upsides. So for one thing, you're looking at, until the recent just refresh, okay? It was just a refresh that they did. This was Intel's absolute king. I mean, look here. 285K, beating out the like $680 9950 X3D, okay? Just hands down. Like, all of these are very minute jumps in Adobe Premiere Pro performance, but then bam, okay? And then the GPU you specifically just mentioned, the 9070 XT. Now, where are the caveats here? Well, it's right here. If you're just getting into content creation, pretty simple video editing, maybe you're even using CapCut, and I've been overestimating your needs this whole time. I don't know. I don't have the details on that. You might have said it earlier if I missed it. One thing that I always recommend when you're going to start learning video editing is using proxies. Proxies are so helpful when you don't have a lot of system memory to work with, because your memory capacity when you're getting into serious video editing does become critically important. Because as you're scrubbing through a timeline to get to where you want to edit and do all these different things and preview the edits you've done, every frame goes and sits in your memory, your system memory. Now, if you're using high bitrate, full quality footage, that is a problem right away. But if you're using low bitrate proxies, which even if you have a great system, you should be doing. Even if you have like an ideal video editing system, use proxies. You might as well. It takes nothing away from the final product. You should be able to go on 32 gigs of RAM for quite a while. The other downside here is the storage being just 1 terabyte. But if we look at this system, it is hundreds of dollars less than equivalent systems that will perform as well as this. And as a matter of fact, I don't believe there was another system that will perform as well as this, specifically in Adobe Premiere Pro, utilizing QuickSync, which is amazing. It lost my settings. Of course it did, because I did that. Load high, we put your budget back in. There it is, right here. Yeah, when you go from that to the next system next to it, you're going from a Core Ultra 9 285K to a 14th gen 14700F, which, by the way, you know what? I need something where I zoom in myself. Hold on a second. Let me make this really quick. Give me a second. I've been feeling the need to make that change a couple times, and I have not done it. And then a way to change it quickly. Sorry, I just had to do this. Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, I already did this. Huh. Oh, well, now it's another one. Okay, now I get another one. All right. Cool. I can do that now. How about that? It's just that quick, people. Okay. Talking about proxies, got to say the way Adobe handles proxies is not nearly as good as Kden Live. You can set Kden Live up to automatically and almost instantly make proxies for your whole timeline media you put in. On Premiere Pro, you need to throw your whole video into the media encoder for it to convert, and that takes a while. And then it throws proxies back into the sequence. Adobe could improve Premiere Pro a lot by changing that to play. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, you got to adapt that workflow, essentially, yeah. But I've been dealing with that for a long time. Until I had a PC that didn't need proxies, and I got lazy about it. That face knows PCs. This face? Those 14700F and DDR4 that got the price down some. Yeah, it did. It did. But here we have... well, see, this is the problem. I'm like not showing the right part. But here, DDR5. It's got DDR5, 285K, $17.99. Really, really good. And... oh! Okay, look at that. Okay, hold on. Because WXFan21 just gifted a tier 1 sub to Z24 Panther. Let's go, nerds! Panther, welcome to the swarm. Thank you, WX. Much appreciated. Very nice of you. Panther, if you refresh the stream, you shouldn't get any more ads. WXFan21 just gifted you a tier 1 sub right there. So there you go. So yeah, I was saying, this is a hell of a deal right here. The 9070 XT is not going to be like the best in terms of video editing, depending on the the program you're using, but it's going to be fine. It's going to be good. It'll do the job for sure. It does have the 16 gigs of VRAM. The gaming performance is going to be fantastic, and it does have AV1 encoding if that's something you're looking to do. And yes, YouTube can utilize AV1 encoded video for posting videos and even streaming. That helps, especially if you have not the highest bandwidth internet. That WXO is very nice of you. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Power GPU has a pre-built called Lux that I would like to consider when you get to him. Black or white is absolutely negotiable for price or performance. We go to DDR4. I want at least 64. Right. it's difficult for us to be like, well, I want this, so I'm going to choose this, because then you're talking about a custom PC. And the way that they do these is what allows for them to do their price to performance that they're getting, because they're doing at volume, right? I doubt they're buying, considering that DDR4 is no longer the norm, I doubt they're buying any 64 gig kits of DDR4, but who knows? Maybe with the current shortages, maybe that is the thing to do. But I can take a quick look at that. Let's take a look. And power GPU should be right up near the top. Of course it is. Okay. You said the Lux. Is it ready to ship? What is it? Did you mean? Yeah, the Lux. Okay. All right. So are you talking about this one right here? That's a no from me, dog. Sorry. I'm not gonna. I'm not really a fan of this one. First off, you're going from a full ATX motherboard down to an MATX motherboard, meaning you're cutting yourself off from some of the options that you could have had to expand the PC, like adding more I/O via PCIe, USB card, things like that. Internal capture cards. You can put one, but that's it. It's also, you're looking at comparing. And not to comparing, but I mean, yeah, this is a boutique builder as well. But a 9500F, Ryzen 5 9500F versus an Intel Core Ultra 9 285K, that's, yeah. There is no comparison there. It does not compare. When you're talking about doing more than gaming, the CPU really starts to become more and more important with every additional use case that you add to it, depending on which one it is. Like for instance, if you said, I'm going to be doing a lot of, I'm an amateur photographer, I'm going to be, doing a lot of photo editing, I'd be like, get an 8-core AMD CPU. Adobe Photoshop loves those little things, and I don't know why. What's up, Turdog? How's it going? Yeah, so that's the first thing that struck me there. I was like, that is not tall enough to be full ATX. So yeah, aside from that, I mean, it's got a 5070. That's a great GPU, but it's not gonna outperform a 9070 XT in most cases, except maybe in things like some 3D design software, rendering, things like that, encoding. It's gonna be outperforming potentially, because with that 9th gen NVENC that it has, very, very good. But otherwise, 9070 XT is going to outperform the 5070. So yeah, I think this one takes the cake right here. The two places where it needs some improvement, because look, 850 watt, 80 plus gold, ATX 3.0 power supply. You don't need the ATX 3.0 because it's not going to have 12 V2x6 on the power cord for the GPU. The 12V2x6 is that little connector that on 5090s keeps burning out. Well, other than a single exception that God knows why they did it, AMD just uses 8-pin, 6+2 pin PCIe power, as was originally intended. So the two places where this could use improvement eventually are the two, at least physically, easiest to upgrade parts: your RAM and your storage. Storage is the absolute easiest, because you don't have to like buy a whole new kit of storage to upgrade your storage. With the memory, the thing you generally want to do is you're like, I need 64 gigs now. I've been running 32 gigs for a couple of years, and it was fine. But now I'm upping my game in the video editing and in, things like After Effects. I just need a little more RAM. I'm running into RAM. I'm running out of RAM in Premiere Pro or whatever, Vegas or whatever video suite that you're using, video editing suite you're using. RAM is super easy to upgrade. Physically, it is. Cost-wise, you do want to give it those couple of years so that the market can normalize. Storage, kind of the same, except you don't have to swap out your storage to upgrade it. That is an additive upgrade. You're keeping what you already have and adding on to it. That used to be the norm for RAM. You'd get, 2 sticks of DDR4, and later on you get a matching 2 other sticks of that same kit to make it 4 sticks of RAM. With DDR5, I have run an Intel system with 4 sticks of DDR5, and it worked well. It worked great. It's much better at that than AMD is. And that is something that I did bring up to the AMD engineers when I went and visited, okay? And they're like, we know, yep, just use 2 sticks. And I'm like, people can't be picky in this market. It's a global shortage. What do you mean? This was in December when it was all really, really, really ramping up. And they were like, yeah. I was like, just make it make sense. Just make it more agnostic of that. Like, it doesn't need to be the fastest. It needs to be stable. And, you know, we talked about that for a while. They're really, really cool people over there. The engineers at AMD and at companies like this, like you talk to an NVIDIA engineer or an AMD engineer or an Intel engineer, they're just there to make cool stuff. Like, they're not out there trying to price gouge every consumer in existence. They just want to make cool stuff. And my message was like, hey, consumers need more flexibility from your memory controller. That was my message to AMDs. And apparently, it has it now. Like, you don't have to be on 10 nanosecond first word latency all the time anymore for AMD. That's awesome. That's exactly what I asked for. I'm not going to assume that was my that was my input that caused that. It's just common sense. But I'll take it. I don't care either way. Flux was the other one from him, and he said I could upgrade the GPU to 9070 XT. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Yes. Okay. Okay, 5060 Ti. Gaming PC. Did they do the 8 gig or the 16 gig? They did the 8 gig. Womp womp. But look, I can't blame anyone for like any compromises they had to make. Power GPU was a zero compromise company coming into a very compromising market with Ramageddon, and that is a lot of boutique builders that they're out to make the best PCs that you can buy by their definitions, and each one is a little different, right? And that's the way it should be. And zero compromise companies that stubbornly stick to that policy do not survive times like this. So here's a compromise. They have to go for the lower end 5060 Ti, which NVIDIA, giving those 2 GPUs the same name is just criminal. Like, I am doubting whether that's hyperbole on my part or not. It's night and day between a 5060 Ti 8 gig and 16 gig if you go above 1080p, period. If you're trying to do 1440p on a 5060 Ti 8 gig, you're going to have a bad time. With 16 gigs VRAM, though, it's not going to be much faster of a GPU, but it will not fail on you when it just runs out of VRAM, which is nice. Now, this is just a very generalized statement. There's exceptions to everything, but yeah, generally speaking, I would put the extra money into a 5060 Ti 16 gig any day of the week. Fantastic GPU. But yeah, so this with a 9070 XT, though, better, closer, warmer, 270K plus. That is like my video editing PC's CPU, but better. So if you can do this and throw code Breathorn at him to get $50 off, you're golden. I'd recommend Power GPU any day of the week. I'd even make up a couple extra days of the week just so I could recommend them more. I don't feel like I've gotten to work with them enough, and that truly bothers me. That's my failing. I could have reached out to Jesse at any point and stuck with it to work on projects together, but I just never did it. But yeah, 32 gigs of DDR5 6000. 56. You're not looking at 5060. You're looking at the same wattage of power supply, 850 watts. You're looking at a Thermaltake View 270 Plus. Okay. Their own brand of 360 millimeter AIO, which is, as Power GPU is growing, they're able to do things like that, which I love to see. B860. Right. B860. So it's a B-class motherboard. So this is something we got to talk about. There's a reason this CPU has a very specific letter at the end there, after those 3 digits, right? 270K. That means that the CPU is unlocked for overclocking. Ridiculous that Intel is still putting up a wall for overclocking on their CPUs in 2026, but here we are. But the 270K can do it. However, this motherboard cannot. Where the B is right here, that would need to be a Z. Z890 is what you would need. And like this, Z890. That's what you would need in order to actually be able to utilize that overclocking. Now, do I think you're going to go and overclock stuff, Panther? I don't think so. But there are some features locked behind it other than that. But yeah, I mean, there is still a built-in boost with a B series motherboard. It's just, it is what it is. Yeah, some AMD GPUs use a 12V 2x6 now. But yeah, no, that's why I said there's a couple exceptions, and I don't know why they chose to do it. Was it Sapphire that did that? I don't recall. What a shame. What a shame. What are they thinking? Don't look at me. I don't know. So while I really do like the Flux, it kind of baffles me that they went the extra mile to go the 270K unlocked overclockable CPU, but then went with a B860 motherboard. Now, it could be just me, all right? That might not ever bother you. You're probably just going to turn this thing on and want it to run stable and cool and do all the things you want it to do. For me, I would just be like, you and I are different people. I would be bothered knowing like this motherboard doesn't really match this processor perfectly. It can't use all of its features that I'm paying for. That might never, ever, ever bother you. And that would be totally legit if it never bothers you. It would just bother me. And you're not me. So you're good. If you want to go with the Flux. If Jesse said I can do a 9070 XT within your budget, that's awesome. You should go for that. A very big deal here, okay, to make up for this being a different chipset than what I would recommend normally, is the fact that you're going from a default 1-year warranty here, which you can upgrade if you want to a full-on 3-year warranty with Power GPU. It was like a year and a half ago, I think. Maybe a year. I don't know when it was. But Jesse told me very proudly, he's like, I redid our whole warranty structure. You should check it out. Full 3 years. Bam, right out of the gate. I was like, hell yeah, buddy. There it is. What happened? What happened where? To whom? Whomst? Okay. I don't know what happened. What do you mean? Okay. So here's the deal. What I would say is this. Panther, whatever I have to say about my own nitpicks, I don't have to live with this PC. The ownership experience is paramount. And I feel like with Power GPU, you would probably have maybe a more fulfilling ownership experience. If you have issues, you talk directly to people there. Skytech, you got to get through a little bit of system. Their customer support is fantastic. You can go, both of these companies have fantastic customer support. But there is a little bit of extra that comes with any boutique builder. That's part of the whole packaging. That's part of the deal. Plus, triple the warranty for $0 extra is kind of a huge deal. Instead of 1 year where you are guaranteed to have your PC working, we have 3 of those years. Now, I don't know if the years are blending together for you, but 3 years is a long time. And the years are kind of blending together for me, I'll be honest. So yeah, go with the Flux on this then. Those overclocking features I was talking about with the only thing that I'm concerned with it being a B860 motherboard is whether or not it has enough I/O on the back, as in USB ports to plug in streaming devices, control surfaces, your Stream Deck, things like that. Audio interface, microphone that might be USB, headset, things like that. But that is why it's good that this is a full-size motherboard, because again, I always point these out. Something like this is like $30. And it is plug and play. You plug it right in. It is a single screw to hold it in. Right there. There you go. And you're golden. So if you find that the motherboard is a little anemic in terms of I/O, you're good. No problem. They both have the same amount of storage, 1 terabyte of Gen 4 storage. They both have an 850 watt, 80 plus gold power supply, 360 millimeter all-in-one liquid cooling, both of them. I would say the main another thing to keep in mind is that the Skytech PC does have. Actually, no. Hold on. Hold the phone. Hold it, I say. That's right. They changed this, didn't they? They did. So the 265K, the predecessor to this 270 plus refresh, had 20 cores. The only difference between the 265K and the 285K was 4 efficiency cores. And guess what? With the 270K plus, it is a 24 core CPU. Just like that. Just like that. Like that. There. 24 cores. Is a 285K faster in some, does it have higher boost clocks? Yeah. But same number of cores, which for high core count productivity tasks, that's kind of more what it cares about. I understand about the other features that I would like to access, but you're correct. I don't want to overclock. I would want to have a CPU that can be in a motherboard that can, if I ever wanted to. Well, that would be this one. This has the Z890. I would say that, remember how I was saying zero compromise companies in a compromising market? You gotta adapt. And the 2 compromises on this system, if you were to get it as is, would be the 8 gig 5060 Ti and the B860. Now, with what he said about keeping you in budget and putting you in a 9070 XT, excuse me, mean that the only caveat here, other than a slight step down, and I mean a very slight step down in the CPU, considering that it's the same core count now, is that, yeah, you're just locked out of overclocking in the traditional sense. There's still going to be Intel's baked in boost clocks and things like that. It'll still have those behaviors. You just can't go in and edit it yourself. You can't go do that stuff with this motherboard. If that doesn't bother you, and stability is your number one thing, then the Flux is probably the way to go. That's the thing. Motherboards are the least upgrade-friendly part in your PC. It's like rebuilding the whole thing, basically. You have to take off the GPU. You have to remove your storage, your RAM, take off the CPU cooler, remove the CPU, and then you can access your motherboard. Also, all of the power connectors going to it from the power supply. Motherboard upgrades are a thing that you should avoid. If this is for yourself and you know that you're not gonna care about overclocking, then go with this. If you feel like you will, go with the other one. So that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna recommend. You already had this one in your sights, and absolutely great choice. But I'm gonna give you the links for both. We already have the link for this. Just know that with this one, you can use code Breathorn and get $50 off right there, just like that. With the Skytech one, I don't actually have the normal link that would allow me to do that, to give you the discount code. I'd have to get back to you on that. Even to this day, they still have not gotten me access to where I can generate links. Isn't that awesome? If stability is your primary concern, stick with the Flux. Go with that. I mean, seriously, going from 1 to 3 years of warranty is crazy good. Rurutu, thank you. Yes, that is true. And I guess I could just get a day job, right, Rurutu? No, see, when it's a code from me, when it's just one on their main page, cool, you do get a discount. When it's a code from me, the discounts are generally equivalent, and it also helps support what I do, which that is currently absolutely under threat right now, and it has been for months. So if that's what you would like, and you'd like me to maybe stop streaming and just go get a day job, keep saying stuff like that in chat, and do that with other content creators too. I'm sure they would really appreciate that. In fact, change your name from Marutu to Honey, perhaps, because Honey was doing that to creators, and it was pretty catastrophic for a lot of creators whose income comes from sharing their expertise like that. Now, one thing I wanted to point out. Oh, actually, you're not looking at this PC. You're looking at the one from Power GPU. This one shows an MATX motherboard, but it lists it doesn't say Z890M here, so you would be getting a full-size ATX board. So that link I just gave you should at least tag it back to me, but it wouldn't give you a discount code. Just come back on Thursday. I should have the ability to generate codes by then. If you want the Skytech one. If you want the Power GPU one, they kept it simple. You just put in code Braithorn. So there's that one, and then I will put the Flux here as well. I think it's kind of weird to tell someone you should call yourself Honey. I meant that like honey.com or the what is it, the Honey plugin that where it would find coupon codes for you. Well, when it was doing that, I'm sure y'all know this story by now, it was overwriting creators' affiliate codes. Creators who had spent untold number of hours or man hours or maybe paid editors and employees to make video content to help out consumers. And then in order to pay their employees and keep their businesses going, we're relying on affiliate revenue from making those recommendations and people using their codes. Those codes are being overwritten by Honey. I was already leaning towards a Flux, so with your endorsement, I'm going to go with that one. Heck yeah. And tell Jesse I said hi. I miss that dude. And Lady Power, of course. They're both awesome people. I swear, I always wanted to go over to hang out with them. There's a couple other companies also in that area as well. Gamers Nexus is in their area as well, but never really got the chance. All those things were slightly interrupted by the global market tanking. Did they get sued for doing that? There is a class action lawsuit, yeah. Essentially, here's the thing. Like, I've said many times, you don't need to drop subs. You don't need to give bits or donate or anything for me to help, because I was never comfortable with that. With PCs being as expensive as they are, and my job being to help people find them, taking more out of your wallet just to support what I'm doing always felt a little uncomfortable to me. So that was what Operation Code Braithorn was all about. You get to support what I do while saving money. You get to spend less and support what I do just by using my coupon code. That was it. And that worked because I don't just have it at one place, at one company where it would make me biased. I learned that lesson. He streams almost every weekday. Yep. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, if I also have very strict rules for who I allow to have a coupon code with me. Like there was a company who they started we started getting very negative reports in their customer service. I deleted that out of the list of codes that is available on the Discord, and we no longer talk about that company until they get their game right. Like, figure out if you're going to offer a lifetime warranty, it should be a good one, and you should have good service. Don't guarantee people a lifetime of bad service. Just as bad as the other Team Green. Anyways, almost as bad. Minus the leather jacket. Anyways, Ghost Poner, what's up? Yeah, it's going well. I mean, this is the only one I've got. So that is probably going to do it for the PC matchmaking portion of the stream. Unless someone else fills out the form and is looking to get some help. That would make it, I don't know. Now we can either chill, chat, or I can jump into TCG Live, play some games, get some wins, get some losses, whatever happens. I still don't know what I'm going to do about the Nuzlocke. It's so rough right now. Trying to plan for that Elite Four. It's brutal. I'll respond back to some of our WX. I know. I'm bad at responding to DMs. I apologize. I may have mentioned that once or twice. I'm sorry. I'm terrible at it. It has ruined many of my friendships. I'll tell you that. And I regret that all the time. But I'm trying, I'll try to get better about it. But yeah, Rutu, no hard feelings or anything, but like my recommendation to you is if you're in another content creator stream and they're giving their time to helping somebody else out or doing something like that and they have their own code, don't recommend that someone use another code. It's just bad manners. It's like, it's bad. It's not good vibes, or however you want to put that. Because it's basically like, oh, no. They don't need to make a living. What do you mean? No, just use this other code. Maybe you save $5 more. It's not good. Just a little tip from me to you. Alucard posted the honey link in both chats. Thank you for that. Not the honey link, but to the content where it was exposed. So I'm not sure exactly what video it is, but if it's the original, that's what I'll probably do. I will Jesse streams almost every weekday for at least 4 hours, most often. Heck yeah. Megalag, right on. Yeah, good on Megalag for that. Also, like, have you guys seen the clip of Markiplier like 2 or 3 years ago? Coming out and being like, I don't like honey. I don't trust it. They're spending way too much money to not be making way too much money. There's something wrong with this. It doesn't make sense. I don't trust honey. And he said, sometime down the line, years from now, there's going to be a whole thing about honey and all this. But that's why you're not going to see me sponsored by them. And I was looking back at that. It's like, damn. He was right on the money. Wouldn't recommend something unless I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. If you get the reference, anything that gains popularity fast, I'm suspicious of. Well, yeah. Markiplier's reaction was quite funny, even though it was true. Yeah. I appreciate that, W. You're good, man. You're good. Okay. It's funny. I'm talking about how I'm bad with communication and DMs and stuff, and I'm wearing the perfect shirt for that. I am sometimes trash. I am. It's actually trash taste. It's a trash taste merch shirt. Okay. But still, the messaging is correct, I would say. I just get so hyper fixated, or it's like there is no in between for me between hyper fixated or disassociated. It's like one or the other. Which usually dissociation is just a symptom of chronic fatigue syndrome, honestly, where I'm just, I think you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and exist right now kind of thing. Or I just got too much on my plate. I feel like it's almost, when is everything supposed to get easier as an adult where you just like things, you know, because I remember growing up and seeing adults and it seemed like they always had everything in, under control. But obviously, I was just a naive kid, but it just does not get any easier for the real life stuff to just knock it off. Real life, I got stuff to do that I want to do, not have to do, but that I want to do. How the washing machine thing go, by the way? Oh, it's fixed. Asterisk. Like there is. So, like this front loading washer we've had for years and years and years. Sometimes just smaller garments get kind of trapped in, like it goes down the drainage, I guess, of it, and it has a filter for catching that. That filter gets full really quick if that happens, and then it cannot drain. And I've had to clear it out before. And our laundry room is not large, so the acrobatics that it takes to get to that, to access it, and mostly to put the dryer vent back on is like. It was easier for me a few years ago. Let's put it that way. But now I don't know if I didn't seal it up properly, because I got to like move my dryer out of the way, shift over the whole washer, take off the entire back panel, get to where that plug is for the where the filter is, pull it out, get out whatever's in there, close it back up. It seems like it has a very mild leak now, so I might have to do that all over again because I might not have sealed it up properly, and that's where I stand with that. And that sucks because my back was hurting for 2 days after that. 2 days. I was like, I am not built to contort myself like this anymore. What the hell happened? Yeah, a sedentary job is what happened. A sedentary lifestyle from working from home and at a desk is what happened. Whatever. So yeah, it's working now. That's the main thing. We don't have to go to the laundromat. We don't have to do anything like that. You know, I spent my time doing that. Spent years doing that kind of stuff. I don't want to do that anymore. I want my washer that I got years ago to just work forever. Is that too much to ask? Yeah, it probably is. I mean, free cash is becoming another suspicious thing. I haven't even looked at that. Why are Chanel Cerberus when we get to talk about the rash shirt? Yeah. It just, because I always wear some kind of outerwear garment, like it just says rash. It's trash taste. All right. How about this? Now it's a Pokemon shirt because it says Ash. There you go. As from Comics Explained, we want all the benefits of being an adult, but none of the drawbacks. Yeah, is that too much to ask? Again, yes. Yes, it is. So you became Spider-Man. Got it. What is the opposite of Ultimate Spider-Man? That would be it. There was probably a version of me waddling around across the Spider-Verse. Or into the Spider-Verse, rather. I was thinking about the Beatles across the universe. Laundry bags for small garments. Yes, we are using that. We are using that. It should no longer be an issue. But thank you. Thanks for most valued input. I truly appreciate it more than I know how to express in words. You're the best. Panther, don't worry about it. As long as you get a PC that you're happy with for years, you get service that works for you. And this is part of the boutique experience, is just being able to talk to the literal owner of the company and be like, hey, this one's almost perfect. What if I have it with this? Can it fit within this budget? And he's like, yeah, I can make that work. Crazy. Inferior Spider-Man, I guess, at your service. Does, for one thing, does not do whatever spider can. Also has a mild phobia of spiders. Not so mild, actually. The worst Spider-Man, actually, is That would be my comic book title. I would just never have been bitten by the radioactive spider because I would just like noped out of there the moment. Like, did you see the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man where like he goes into the lab and there's spiders everywhere and he's just like, spiders. I'd be like, oh, no. And I'd just be, I wouldn't have even walked in the doorway. Not even close. I don't need those powers enough. It's not happening. Ruta, yes, man spider. Without the spider part. Just man. Man. It's me. Thank you, Natty. I can hear that perfectly in my head. That was beautiful. Oh, man. Okay. Oh, Jay's streaming. What's up, buddy? Okay. Let's just, okay, I know that this is probably, like, we've actually got people in here, right? I appreciate y'all coming in to hang out. And it's probably because I was actually talking about PC stuff, and I got to do that. That made me happy. Thank you for that, Panther. I appreciate it. And anyone else who needs help with that, if you legit, okay, to be clear, don't sign up just to give me busy work to do, because that can alter the actual, like, data that I get from the anonymous data that I get from the forums, where like your name, all that stuff is not included. It's just how many people had this budget, how many people had this budget. That gets altered by the sort of fun submissions there. So please don't do that. But if you legit are planning on buying or building a PC within the next month, fill out the form. I'll help you out. If you're like, I wish Braythorn would just do that all the time, because that's what I find entertaining. I so wish you could have what you wanted there, but without people to help out, ain't no forms to address here. No one to help out there. Like, if there's no one to help out, there's no one to help out. I think that makes sense. I want spider powers. I don't know, man. I feel like, listen, I feel like the life of a spider is just a life of anxiety. I'll be honest with you. I think we already know what that feels like. But no, like, listen, imagine like you're in your apartment or home or wherever you're at. Imagine if you had to build that every night and just like hope that like food comes. You can't Uber Eats as a spider. You just got to accidentally get sustenance. And then if you build your home in the wrong place, some idiot walks by and gets it in their face and they're like, oh, spiders are evil. And you're just like, I just want to eat. It sounds so stressful. And I think I've made myself feel better about my own life by thinking about how stressful and full of busy work a spider's life must be. No, thank you. So when you say I want spider powers, I don't know if I want that. Because, like, also, Spider-Man's powers don't really, like, when Spider-Man's powers, I love Spider-Man, by the way. Grew up with Spider-Man, the greatest superhero of all time, probably. But when you think about it, like, the closest Spider-Man's powers ever were to being the actual powers of Spider was when, like, he's growing out, like, 4 extra gross arms and, like, turning, like, crazy spider. No, thank you. I'm good. Like, that was, like, biblically accurate Spider-Man, right? It's just like, you can't just look at a spider and be like, okay, I would like to have the strength and I'd like the webbing, but I want to shoot the webbing, not just have it like drag out of my butt. I want to shoot it out of my wrists like that. Thwip, thwip. And I want to cling to surfaces, but only when I want to, right? Like, I don't want to have, like, that was the one thing about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, because they don't really explain, I think, if I recall correctly, how, like, for Tobey Maguire, they explain this, right? But for the following 2 Spider-Men, they didn't do the super hyper close-up shot that Sam Raimi did of the little spines coming out of his skin. That's like having a cat's tongue on all of your fingers. And how does it get through the clothes? But also cat's tongue, but sharper and barbed, by the way. It was gross. I hated it, but it was cool in a way. So like, you just be like, oh, hey, how, you know, let me just go and pick that up. Jeez. It just, everything sticks to you. It's crazy. Gonna see Spider-Man Brand New Day on Thursday. I want to see Odyssey too, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I want to see both. I'd like to point out that ever since Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man appeared, I always said that Spider-Man not having natural web production makes him Insect Man at best. And I always had this fight with a comic reader friend of mine, and then I won because after like 3 movies, they finally gave Tom Holland natural web production. Okay, the thing about the web production being natural is that it is not a comic book thing. Or it wasn't. I don't know if they ever changed that. But he always had web cartridges. He had web shooters with cartridges. Yeah, I never understood how Sam Raimi's Spider-Man walked on the walls with his shoes on. I mean, honestly, they had a 2-second shot of little spiny things growing out of his finger pads or whatever, and then they never talked about it again. But that's also Sam Raimi movies. Like, that's the thing is, if you've ever watched like Evil Dead or any of those movies, if you've never seen those, you're just like, okay, this is how comic book movies were at this point in I guess. Nope. That's just Sam Raimi, man. That's just Sam Raimi. Okay? The weird, like, of like the weird flashbacks, the weird images going over things or whatever, like with Goblin, Oswald and all that, Osborn, excuse me, Norman Osborn, Norman Osborn, all that stuff. That is Sam Raimi, top to bottom. Those movies were great. They were great, but they were a different vibe. I like Tom Holland. He's amazing. And honestly, I feel like I didn't appreciate Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man enough until all 3 were on the same screen. Then I was like, man, he really's got his own thing going on. He really does. He's just, I don't know. He's like almost too cool to be Peter Parker, right? Andrew Garfield is like too handsome and cool to be Peter Parker in a way. You know what I mean? It's like the best Batman has a good Bruce Wayne. Like, he's got to be a good Bruce Wayne too. And yeah, Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Like, there is like, it's seriously just separated by spandex. That's it. So, I don't know, whatever. I'm getting too in the weeds with that. I'm not good at explaining comic book things. That's not what I do. Andrew Garfield was a good Spider-Man, while Tobey Maguire was a great Peter Parker. Yes, Tobey Maguire is the best Peter Parker, hands down. Tom Holland is a good Peter Parker. He's good. I think he's a better Peter Parker than... see, to me, Tom Holland is the best combination of, say, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. That's why it's been like 10 years, and we've had Holland on it. He's just really good at both. Not the best at either, but very good at both. And honestly, I feel like he might be a better Spider-Man in the suit, actual Spider-Man, than Andrew Garfield, actually. Andrew Garfield, there was a scene in the second Amazing Spider-Man movie where Spider-Man, in order to get off a few jokes, lets like 10 or 15 people die in a horrible, horrible car accident to just joke with the Rhino. He just lets him plow into traffic. So really, it's the writing, honestly, because what the hell? Spider-Man? Okay. Where's the space? It's like, this is not Tobey Maguire on the front of a train, nearly ripping his body into pieces to stop a train to save every single person he could. No, he's just like, all right, I'm done making jokes now. Bye-bye. And he leaves, and just like the truck just into just families of 4 in every vehicle. Horrifying. What the hell? I'm waiting for Doomsday at this point. I wonder if they're going to do a bait and switch with Dr. Doom being Robert Downey Jr. I think that would be, I don't know, who knows. I think it's going to be an overly ambitious movie. I think it's going to be trying to do way too much. Like when you think about Doctor Doom, I mean, he's a reason. Like the Doctor Doom, if you remember, like the early 2000s Fantastic Four movie, the biggest problem with that movie, aside from like, okay, this is a movie about a team, let's separate them for most of the movie, like have them do their own things, and like let's make things really weird between like I'm not even gonna get too much into all that stuff, but it was Victor Von Doom being a CEO, not being a master of magic and technology in a crazy castle. Nope. He's just a CEO that like gets powers and he's Electro, but metal or whatever. And then he decides, well, now I got to be evil. Wait, my doctor told me that I have power. Okay, I guess I got to kill him. Oh, in too deep now. I got to start killing more people. What? Dr. Doom is a genius and a master of like, okay, you just don't break him down to just being a CEO. Without a good villain, there is no superhero movie. There were some good things about that movie, right? But, so in order to truly explain Dr. Doom, you need to dedicate like a good amount of time in your movie for that. And I don't know if they're going to have the runtime to do it right. I don't know. Just like the quintessential super villain, Dr. Doom is the quintessential supervillain. Okay, he thinks he's doing the right thing, or like he thinks he knows better. He's gonna save the world by conquering the world. All these different things, right? Like you need to give that villain some breathing room and time, and you got to establish it right. I don't know if they're gonna have time to do it. They're trying to bring in the whole ensemble cast again. You saw that line of actor chairs. Spider-Man to me was growing up on the 90s cartoon. Oh, hell yeah. I loved that cartoon. That was a great Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Just the voice actor, like, was perfect for that animated series. So perfect. Tom McGuire is very much my favorite take on older Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield's my favorite take on teenage or young adult Spider-Man. Tom Holland is amazing Spider-Man because he's extremely believable for the general MCU universe, multiverse stuff they're doing. Like, I don't think Tobey or Andrew could fit into the stories like Tom Holland is in. Yeah, the thing about it is Tom Holland's his chemistry with Robert Downey Jr. Oh my God, it was perfect. I think that had to be the number one thing for casting him, right? But he proved he could carry entire movies on his own. Oh man, Tom Holland is crazy good. Like, when you watch him in other stuff, it's like, how did we get this guy to be Spider-Man? This is amazing. He can just do backflips, by the way. No big deal. Just like I can just like teleport, by the way. There it is. I should unmute my mic too. Okay. I'm glad to have so much to read in chat. This is great. Yo, what's up, Rudolph 300? How's it going? Let's go, nerds indeed. What's up? Welcome. Doomsday is about 3 hours long, I believe. This Doom stopped Thor's Stormbreaker with 2 fingers. 2 bleeping fingers. Well, that's magic for you. Or technology. Who knows that guy? Probably magic. Dr. Doom has too many powers for a 2-hour movie that also have to introduce Fantastic Four for well, no, see, I think it's gonna be the same Fantastic Four from the recent Fantastic Four movie. They don't need an introduction. The main conceit of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is they assume you've watched everything they've ever made, which would require like 2 weeks, I think. So watch the Fantastic Four movie. It is a little, from what I heard, I haven't watched it. I hear it's a little lean on the action, but the thing is, Doctor Doom has to be insane, like in terms of what he can do and his capabilities, because it's 1 versus 4 essentially all the time, right? He's got to be cracked, absolutely. Main problem, Doctor Doom is mainly how it's written in the scripts, as well as originally being too OP for the MCU. Well, at this point, they took down Thanos. It would be the right time. I'm getting a PC for sure. Okay, Panther. Just got done working my summer job to get extra money to afford one. That's what I was going for this year. I may seek your help with an upgrade for my Optiplex components to give to my son to take to college with him this fall, either Thursday or next week. For that one, I will only need a motherboard, case, and power supply. You got it. Now, with Optiplex, though, I need to see if it has a standard ATX screw holes, essentially, because you might not be able to move that to another case. And it might require, like, if you can't move it to another case, you can't really change the power supply. The problem with those is their lack of upgradability, but I think, depending on what year of Optiplex it was, it may have standard ATX. I don't know. Also, it probably doesn't have a standard ATX 12 volt, not 12 volt, a standard ATX 24-pin pinout. Like, it might not have the connector to be powered by a standard power supply. It probably needs a proprietary Dell power supply. Oh, no, wait, that's what the motherboard part is for. I'm an idiot. You said that. You said you need motherboard, case, and power supply. All the things that I'm saying right now are invalid because I forgot the thing I just read. I've been doing this for 6 years. You don't always get better at stuff by doing it for a long time, it seems. I mean, Secret Wars would be an interesting thing to really show off what Doom is capable of, depending on which one. Snooze that. It's going to come right back up. Get back here and love us. Look, I told you guys I don't want to vape on camera anymore, so that's just my out for that, okay? And I don't do it as often as I used to. You find all the Dragon Balls we were gone? Not. Radar's busted, unfortunately. From what I've heard from the Cosmic Wonder, he has heard that Doom is going to be portrayed as a good guy to start the movie, I think. The thing, Dr. Doom is one of those villains who, like, in the right circumstances could be a powerful ally, and I think has been before when there's like galactic threats or stuff. It's kind of the same thing as like Lex Luthor, right? Coming from the alternate universe. The whole thing about what was that DC MMO? Like DC Universe Online, something like. I played that for a little while. It was really fun. You got to make your own DC superhero of the different archetypes. It was really kind of cool. But that intro cutscene for that game was so crazy. If it's what I'm thinking it is, it'll be involving, I believe, the relation with his mom, since that was a lot of his intentions for gathering more power before. From the trailer, it looked like his mom or maybe his wife. There's a lot of stuff in that trailer. Supposedly, Steve Rogers causes an incursion that kills his family in the movie. Oh. That's exactly the kind of thing that would gnaw at Steve Rogers for a long time. So that's... It'd be good. See this? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why Sony cannot, like, so many, like, they tried multiple times to do. Did you know it was like a 10-year buildup to that mid-2000s Fantastic Four movie? Like a decade. At least they got the thing right. Oh, man. The thing was perfect in those movies. He was great. He was fantastic. Ben Grimm, perfectly cast, perfectly portrayed. I don't think Steve knows. It's gonna be a great movie. Also, question for Ray: when is RGB getting in the MCU? I'm still trying to get RGB into the Pokédex. All right, like one thing at a time, one IP at a time. Okay. What have I got here? I have 12 packs of Pitch Black left. I also got some packs of... I'm just thinking, do I want to rip some packs right now or get into some TCG Live. Let's play some TCG Live. I feel like I'm rusty right now. I got to de-rust. Also, WX, yeah. Apparently now we're scheduling for the quarterfinals. I'm in talks with Fudge Fiddle for that. So I'm telling you, man, I am nervous as hell for that. This is the second time I'm going to be facing a mentor, and the first time I got absolutely destroyed. I feel like that is like the one caveat to this whole tournament is like the fact that there are some competitors that are also mentors. I feel like that is a little intimidating for anyone who's like legit in need of mentorship. But hopefully if I can get Nito to mentor me again, I'll get a little edge there. But it's, you know, it's not Nito playing the thing. Yeah, he's one of the top players right now in season 5, if not on the very top right now. But it's still me playing the game. And it's probably not really changing my chances. Like I could have Words mentoring me or any, like, it doesn't change my chances really. But I've been winning with Nito, so I'm like, I'm going to keep doing that, I guess. Natty, listen, don't take this personally, but if there's any way that I can avoid the bug type for RGB, and I know that's crazy, if there's any way to avoid it, I will. Because you know they wouldn't give him fly or bug type moves if Gen 4 is any indication. I was typing when you caught yourself. Good to know you're just human like the rest of us. Going back to lurk mode now for tonight, unless something major to contribute. Yep. Appreciate that. And good on you for knowing exactly what you needed for that upgrade. We'll be able to take care of that. Bug electric, I would think. How about steel electric or electric flying? Electric flying, I think, would be an interesting combo, honestly. I think I'd like that. Electric flying would be fun. Let me see. Zapdos, Emolga, and Kilowattrel. That is it. Well, according to AI, which you know I don't really like to trust that, but it does get cited sources. Zapdos, Emolga, Thundurus, Wattrel, and Kilowattrel, and apparently Fan Rotom is flying electric. We need a few more. Like, seriously, Natty, I'm sorry. Would it be too much to ask for RGB to be competitively viable? Ariados has been seeing some use in Champions, okay? Ariados has been... Even Wolfie has been using Ariados. So, it all depends on utility. Definitely would have Baton Pass, because that's like passing on the hype, right? I think that... Rage Powder, but it's not a grass type. So how would it have rage? Well, there's some that have rage, right? Aren't there some non-grass types that have Rage Powder? Because, you know, I like to rant now and then. I don't know. Oh, and Pom Pom style Oricorio is apparently electric and flying. I think the main thing I'd be interested in is whether it would have a signature ability and what that might be. Because that could make all the difference. Adaptability would be amazing, by the way. Adaptability would be crazy. Because, yeah, make it bug electric type then, but give it adaptability. We don't have terrestrialization anymore, or we might, because it is an Omni Ring in Champions, meaning they're probably going to throw in Dynamax and Maybe Z moves. And of course, terrestrialization. Okay, let's throw out. Yeah, okay, all right. I've been delaying enough here. You know, just talking to you guys, which is not delaying. It's literally being a streamer. But let's get into this. I'd be so into Z moves. They're awesome, but you can only use them once per battle. I don't like that. Well, I guess it's fine if you can. If it's very strategic that way, right? But like, I don't know how I feel about it. All right, let's just jump into a casual real quick. I know what's right here. I know it still says that, and I know that's probably lame for you, but it's just I have the most fun with Beedrill EX, okay? You've seen me have, well, I mean, you've seen me have bad times with it too, let's be honest, but I guess they called heads. Oh. No, I don't want to go first. Please let me get Celebi and win. I did need that. Let me give myself a posture check here and have good posture. How about that? Celebi and energy. Heck yes. That's how I want to start it. Oh, no. That's a fire type Pokemon. I'm weak to those. Excuse me? Water? Okay. $160. How about 220? Real quick. This is just for attaching energy. I don't think I need to worry as much about the fire typing. Okay. Let's get a small about here. And a Kakuna and a Beedrill. And I got all of them in the... Well, I might be missing... No, I have 2 Weedles on the bench. Okay. Got that. Cool, cool. I can get another Kakuna and Beedrill plus Forest of Vitality, and we'll be good to go. Oh, let me change this. Yeah, I didn't get a Dunsparce, so this guy's gonna be sitting here for a little while. But then we can admire the Asako Ito crochet work here. Very cute, the cutest. Wait, so water? What is going on? Okay, this is a Whale Lord, really, really, Whale Lord could be an issue. I'll be honest, could be an issue. More because I don't know its capabilities. So we're going to set up a third Beedrill, I think. Okay, I'm gonna do a Lily's. Oh, wait. No, I got this. No, I don't have energy. I don't have energy. Ah! No! If I had one more energy, I could totally take out their Whalmer, because I could have bosses ordered the Whalmer up. Bam, that is 5 energy in the discard pile, all this good stuff. Bam, I don't need to do the thing for another Beedrill. It's right here. Look at that. Oh boy. But I don't have the energy, so we're going to get a Dolive. I guess. I could actually do a 4th Beedrill. Oh my god. Unstoppable. We'll grab another Forest just in case. And I think I have Arboliva already. So, and we have Smoliv out here. Okay, cool, cool. And we'll grab Shaman. Why not? I'm probably not putting it on the board because I don't have a Dunsparce anyways. But yeah, this setup was crazy. I just need energy though. Where the heck is my energy? I'm going to have to Lilies right after I bring out Arboliva EX. Okay, what's your deal? Falling down, 270 damage, and then it's asleep. Is that the move, though? Celebi, you have done your job admirably. Thank you for your service. Celebi's just like, 2 days to retirement. My turn. Boy, it really wants me to use these bosses orders, huh? But no, I need energy, buddy. Sorry. I guess. Okay, here we go. Should I prepare for another Beedrill? No. No. Yes. Oh my god. Okay. Fine. Okay. Sure, you can come along, Shaman. I'll hold off on that. I need my Dunsparce. What is it doing? Now if it's too late for bosses orders. It's gonna get a hit in on Beedrill, but we have we have energy, we're good. We can swap them around. Watch. The Dunsparce. Bug catching set. All right, I'll take it. Oh no, if only I had like 2 more of those. Oh, come on, it wakes up immediately. What is that? Now I get to Dunsparce. And I get a Forest. Lovely. $440 damage, baby. I hope you enjoyed all that setup. Don't need it, but whatever. I had the set, so why not? I have like all my Pokemon cards. Ah, there it is. Oh, I love this deck. It's so good. Look at the tiny eyes. I love Wailord and Wailmer. They're such awesome Pokemon. They're also kind of silly. Okay, I think I could jump into ranked. Let's do that. Wait, what are we at here? Okay, use attack that costs at least 2. Yeah. I know the tiers move really fast. We want to get to 50 still. I do want to try Mega Chandelure EX. I want to try it out. I'm not going to use any attacks that cost 2 energy. Uh-oh. I'm going to refresh these. Replace. Replace. Psych. I don't want that. I don't want Psychic energy. I'm not doing Psychic. Okay, whatever. Complete one match without conceding. I just did that, but sure. Okay. Yeah, it's an insane deck. It's so good. Like, that is ideal. I had 4 Beedrills on, like, turn 4. Tails sometimes fails, just like that. And I wanted to really kind of correct my earlier erroneous messaging. It's my, you know, I was being a little irresponsible with that. And I will absolutely return to that messaging every time Tails succeeds. Good talk. I guess. I don't get to have the same fun. Of course, when I go to ranked, I get Dunsparce for my basic. That's great. Thank you. Oh, and Zoroark. Here we go. Can we just talk about how awesome his artwork is, though? Damn. Really? They're just going to pull their A-Spec turn 1 and I get Dunsparce for my basic? Come on, man. It's fine. Have a good time, buddy. Do you know what? You just have the time of your life over there. I think at this level in this league, you don't lose any points, any progression for losing. But that doesn't mean I'm conceding. We can still win it. It's not. We haven't even had turn 1 yet. But that right there, if they had to lilies for it, but man, come on. And Zekrom illustration by Akira Egawa. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Egawa is crazy with it. I mean, sure. Why not? I can't use it right now, and they'll probably replace it, but hey. I got 2 Kakunas, but I need Beedrills. I don't have Celebi. So that sucks. A lot. And the recent one, The Darkrai of Pitch Black, that Weedle by Sao Sao, another great artist. Yeah. I love it. It's looking up so hopefully at the tower as it's going, you know, full on illuminated. Not the crazy Ange Floette, but like, yeah, their deck is progressing very quickly. Mine, not so much. It's crazy how they had everything they needed. So they have a stadium card. I do have another forest though, so we're good. How did I get Zero-6 again? I have one of these in my deck. I got it at first draw, ran Lily's Determination, shuffled them all back into the deck, and pulled it again. And Zoroark does not rely on a lot of cards in the hand. Just some, as you can see, but not a lot. So Byte says, by trade, it means you must discard a card from your hand in order to use this ability. Once per turn, you may draw 2 cards. Just draw your cards. Okay. What the heck am I going to do here? Well, look who decided to show up to work. And I have 0 energy. Yay me. Look at me. evolving once per turn. And look at me not having like any cards. You know what? Let's make that both of us. Fine. Nah, I'm not going to antagonize when I'm losing. We save antagonization for when we're winning. I guess that's what I'm implying when I say that. I don't know what they're waiting for. I apparently didn't wait. Did I not end my turn? I didn't end my turn. I apologize for this oversight. Davila, who is your favorite artist though, out of all of them? I think for me, it's probably Kamiya. Tomokazu Kamiya. Every time I'm like, oh, I love the art on this card. Almost without fail, it's Kamiya. Uh-huh, you don't say. Okay. The one that I have that has energy. The one Pokemon that has energy. Kamiya, yep. Sao Gawan, obviously Shinji Kanda. What am I going to get? Okay. I have no motion in my deck right now. No motion. I can't draw cards. One at a time per turn. He's just going to be picking off my entire bench. No, that's not. It's not going to work. I was energy starved. And I had no mobility in my deck at all. Oh, wow. Shinji Kanda is done. Nice. 85% of Kamiya and about 60% of Igawa. Okay, so what about the sort of the two main two physical artists, right? Like, you know. Hold on. So yeah, Yukimori and wait, did I pick that? Did it work? Okay, no. Did I pick Tails and then it worked? Because I didn't gloat. Well, okay. I do need energy. Please give me energy. I'm not doing two Celebies. Thank you. Asako Ito, yes. Also great. Yeah. I don't know if you were here when I did it. But here, I'll grab it later and show you what I pulled. That it made me incredibly happy. Oh, God. Oh, God. It's Metagross. It's Metagross! No, this deck is really good. I've been wanting to build a really good steel deck, so I really should look into it, but I haven't. Oh, hey, look. It's Asako Ito. Oh, come on. I'm getting no lilies, no dawn, no energy. After that one casual battle, what the hell is going on? When am I supposed to boss his orders? The other Beldum? Like just one energy deck. Come on. One. Are 6 out of 7 of my energies in my prize cards? What's going on here? Drive me crazy. But I don't like it that much to do a master set. It would be really hard to do a Yukimori master set. Oh my God. If you're the type where you're like, I have to have every card that was ever made, that's Yukimori. Because Yukimori did all these like ones that you would have to get a magazine for in like 2005 in Japan only, or just crazy stuff like that. It was too much. Like in the 90s, whatever, whenever it was. But it's amazing artwork. Man, just so cool. the dioramas, everything, just the best. Or sometimes just photos taken out in nature. If I do get to go to Worlds, which thanks to Shanala Cerberus, I do have an invite for Sunday of Worlds. There is potential to go to the Yukimori panel where we get to make clay Pokemon with Yukimori. But you can imagine the demand for that. Oh, there's good old Genesect, the metallic signal. Oh, yeah, that's way too difficult. Kamiya is also very difficult and expensive. Yes. A lot of very old cards. Yeah. Of course, Shinji Kanda has some very expensive cards under that name. Like more modern ones. Yeah, make your metal. I'm making nothing over here. What happened from that one casual game where everything was working out great to this? And it's nothing to do with my opponent. It is just my deck not functioning properly. But that's the luck of the draw, you know? That's just how it goes. Oh, goody, it's my turn. What am I even going to do? Let's see. Let's find out. Oh, a second forest. That's the best. Thank you. No energies. Not going to waste my time and their time. All right. Looks like you didn't have enough air in your Drifloon. Cool. That's nice. I didn't have enough energy in my deck, actually. So, this deck, I mean, it's worked plenty of times with just 7 grass energy. Like, it's worked for a long time. I just had 2 really, really bad draws. I have 2 energy search. I haven't seen a single one of them. I could make that 3 or something. Max Rod I'm keeping around because if say a bunch of those 7 energies end up in my discard pile, I can pull them out with this. Plus, if they knock out a Beedrill and I've got Forest of Vitality out, I can pull that Beedrill out of the graveyard and put it right back onto the bench, and bam, that 110 damage is added right back in. It is very funny when it happens. But like y'all were here, that was terrible. 2 terrible games. I have 1 Team Rocket's Petrol. Well, you don't do fewer than 4 Lily's Determinations. That's just pretty common. What about my Pokemon? What have I not been using? I have not been using Meowth. The reason I haven't been using Meowth is because, yeah, it's cool to be able to just get any supporter that you want. And if you haven't used a supporter, you can use it same turn. That's kind of crazy, kind of really good. But Meowth just stays there through the whole game. And with Beedrill EX, you need the space on your bench to put a bunch of bees there. So, what if we do instead? The thing about Meowth is that you can search for Meowth, right? Like you can Ultra Ball. I don't have an Ultra Ball, but you could use Ultra Ball to get it. You can use Dawn to get it. Pokegear is interesting here because you only get to look at the top 7 cards of your deck, right? You may reveal a supporter card you find there and put it into your hand, shuffle the other cards back into your deck. It does what Meowth does, but it's an item card instead of a Pokemon that goes and takes up precious bench space. Apparently, I only own 1 Pokegear. I would want the Pokeball one anyway. What if I replace... Okay, bug catching set for this deck is also... It's very important. And having 4 of those is really nice. But y'all have also seen it where it's later game and it does nothing for me. Whereas being able to search for a supporter... Not search for one, but hopefully have it in the top 7 cards of your deck. And grab a boss's orders when I need one. Or something like a Zerosix whenever I'm going up against Alakazam. Would be great. So we... are going to do this. Get 2 of these. This is just a test. We're testing this. And we're going to remove 1 bug catching set and Meowth. And our deck is valid again. Let's give it a try in casual. Although because it's casual, you know what's going to happen. It's going to work perfectly until I get back into ranked. That Giratina. Also, the Brilliant Stars promo Moltres was very difficult to get the staff version. Okay. When you... Oh, yeah. Yeah. Any staff cards are just like... Yeah, you're adding... it's just an order of magnitude in difficulty going up there. Yeah. It's funny because I have 2 different brains going on up here, right? I have my more recent collector brain. When I get a card that's like, this is very hard to get. It is, I don't know, a Chinese exclusive, or it's this, or it's that. Very rare, yada, yada. Smoliv isn't great here, but it's not the worst. And then there's a content creator side of my brain. And also just general Pokemon enthusiast, right? Just enjoying every aspect of the Pokemon IP, everything they do. The media empire. Oh, good. My favorite. You just had to show up, you two. Okay. I feel like Kangaskhan would be the kind of parent that would like take their baby to the movies and it would be all loud and they would just expect everybody else to deal with it. Anyway. Wait, where wasn't this one showing up? Where is this? What set is this from? Oh, it's like an older set. Okay. I have to like go dig for it. Looks sick though. Oh my god, I got nothing. I have nothing! I guess I'll drop a forest, but they're going to destroy it. Whatever. Oh, there you are. Okay, buddy. Sure. Yeah, I pulled one of the Pokegears. Nice. I'm not going to use it now. I've already used a supporter this turn. So... I should have put that energy on Smoliv, to be honest. I don't have a Dunsparce in my deck. That sucks. That's annoying. Okay, let's grab Dolive here. Still single retreat cost. Really, it would be great if I could switch them out now and use Celebi's move, but I can't do that. I don't have Switch. Switch may be another thing to consider adding in. This is the only thing that came up, and that is that. That's the downside to Pokegear 3.0, is you only look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Now, if it were like... No, that wouldn't work. No, I don't know. Okay. This is just, look, here's what's happening, okay? This guy here, and these are just cards that are just used all the time. They're like very strong and they're basic. So you just put them out there and you're like, look how strong I am. I can put a card on the table. Wait, great for you. And they're just adding Mega Darkrai in. Because guess what? For people like this, it's yet another really powerful basic Pokemon that they can just throw in there. Oh, and they're like, I'm strategering. Look at my strategery. He said, whinging. Cool. This is going great. We're going to lose next round. I don't have another basic Pokemon to put out. I could Lilies, yeah, but I will Lily's determination, apparently. Wow, thank you. Why did I put Dunsparce out there? Wait, I don't have a Dunsparce. It's in my prize cards. What do I do? Okay. One Beedrill EX is going to be really strong here because it's Mega Darkrai is weak to it. So we have a Weedle. We have another Forest in case they get rid of mine. So we have a Dolliv as well. So let's get a Kakuna and a Beedrill and a Smoliv. And we'll get my other Smoliv out here. Basically, with just one Beedrill, I can do 220 damage here. If I can manage to get a second Beedrill out, we're one-shotting Mega Darkrai. And then we can Boss's Orders the other Mega Darkrai out here, and we win the game. But they're going to be knocking out, like... Yeah. They just have to give my Pokemon a special condition, and they knock it out with one hit with Abyssai. As an example, watch this. Oh, wow, huh? Okay, they're trying to protect it. Oh no, they're trying to poison it more? What are you doing? Why did you do it like that? You're supposed to have damage counters on your benched Pokemon to do this. That's how you get 220 damage out of Duskgrade. Interesting. If only I had another Kakuna and another Weedle. I guess so. Look at that. One single Beedrill almost knocking it out because it already had some damage on it. We're 20 HP away from knocking it out. That'd have been great. At least I have Boss's Orders. Or if I get an Arboliva, I can just snipe it. Now they can bring this one up, and this one does have damage counters on it, so it'll get 220 out of Duskgrade. And I don't have another Beedrill right now. And my Celebi is hanging out in the discard pile. What more could you need? What are you looking for? You know, poison your other Darkrai? Yes, you are. Okay, thanks, I guess. Ah, it's getting knocked out. Damn it. Oh, it's not. They didn't have enough energy for Abyssai. Look, I'm losing this. But, oh, okay. Hello. I was losing this. I did talk about what would happen if I got Arboliva, right? Why did I do that? I didn't need to do that. That's what Arboliva was for, but I can still kill it. It's dumb. I wasted that boss's orders for no reason. Now, I guess we'll put damage here. So now we can one-shot with a single Beedrill. I wasted that boss's orders, though. That was really dumb. Because I could have used that later to use Beedrill to take out their... Okay. Well, I need a Weedle now. That'd be good. Thank you for the posture check. It's funny because this chair has much stronger lumbar support, and it's causing me to have bad posture because that's all my back feels, and then I'm hunching over. I need to, like... It has very aggressive lumbar support. I need to figure out a way to get it a little bit farther back. Because if I sit normally, it's like... Actually not good posture. I just need to sit up. Oh, what's up? How's it going? Welcome. Now, I don't think they'll be able to knock out Arboliva unless they get another Dark Bell. Because if they'd had one more, like now they got 3 darkness energies on this Mega Darkrai. If they'd had that before, they used Dark Bell to confuse Beedrill. And that's a one-shot if you're using Abyssai, but they were 1 energy short. They were looking for Pheasantipity to do a 3-card draw here because they just lost a Pokemon. Okay. Yeah, I saw that coming once I got to 3. Oh, hey! Hi, Dawn! +1 energy? Oh, you shouldn't have. Oh my god, that is beautiful. Plus a Pokegear to maybe get another boss's orders. Oh, that's too good. I couldn't have gotten 3 better cards here. Even if it was like Weedle, from Weedle to Beedrill, right? Weedle, Cocoon, and Beedrill. That wouldn't have been as good because I need to give it an energy. And I still need to yank this guy to the front here. But barring any unforeseen circumstances like them having a boss's orders and knocking out this beat, but even then, I might be able to do this. Now they're going to one-shot Arboliva. Is that really what you want to do, though? Are you sure about that? Buddy, I one-shot you this turn without even getting my other Beedrill. I'm still going to do it because it's fun. But they lose. Look, I do 220 just like that, and they're at 110. But we're still doing this. Oh, I can't actually do that because I don't have the thing. But whatever. Here we go. All right, game over. Wow, I came back from the brink on that one. There you are, you jerks. Hanging out in my last 2 prize cards. I think we won that one fair and square. It was just the weakness of Mega Darkrai. They had other options. They had other Pokemon they could have used, and they did not do that. So, okay. Actually, let me see something really quick. Something I didn't think to do with how I did this Drop Shadow. Is there an option to blur it a little bit? Softness. Ah, that's why it was looking kind of rough. That looks way better now. You see how I'm adding softness to the a little bit of blurriness of the Drop Shadow. Not too much because then it just disappears, but I don't want it to be like pencil sharp like that. Perfect. Okay. Cool. I just forgot. I was like, every time I feel like something's a little uncanny with how I'm doing my green screen, I just got to take a second to think about something that I didn't do that I was supposed to do. Complete one match without conceding. There we go. I wasn't doing too good at that before. 46. I think we can make it to maybe make it to 50 tonight. But these are a huge boost. And I'm not getting the psychic energy one here. I mean, I could force that by just playing a casual game. Oh, that was casual. Let's go back to ranked. I thought it was in ranked there. I was very happy for a moment. Okay, let's prepare for me to not be able to draw a single card or get the right Pokemon out front. Let's see. Tails never ceases to amaze me about how I never get tails when I choose tails. Wow. I just like seeing the front of this coin. It's really cool looking. Kind of encompasses everything about my deck. You got the honeycomb here, honeycomb pattern with those hexagons. You got the green for the grass typing. It's really cool. Okay. That's not ideal for sure. Fine. I don't like putting Weedle out front. It can get steamrolled, and then it's in my discard pile, and then I have to max rot it out. Okay. All of these are going to like take damage now coming in, but it's okay. Hi, Celebi. Thanks for joining us. Yes, 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 I know. Oh, I'm doing good on this. Get another Weedle and another energy. Might hold off on putting it in there until I can get my own stadium out. I really need Switch. And it's not to guarantee I would have it right now, but I'm really tired of having to like waste an energy just to move a Pokemon. And they might be ready to do some serious damage next turn. We'll leave it at that. We'll just do a little surprise attack, I guess, on their Dunsparce, which is going to get replaced with a Dunsparce because I guarantee they have one. Flip a coin. We actually want heads this time. And we got it. 30 damage. Okay. That's going to do a whole lot of good. I got to tell you guys, it was really nice to be able to just yap about PCs for like an hour and a half earlier. That was nice. And I noticed, don't think I didn't notice, it brought in more people that I was talking about PC stuff. It's just I don't get the opportunity very often, and also I really have to mitigate my negative feelings about the topic hard. Like I have to be very careful. It's very easy to spiral when I start talking about PC stuff. Ah, they had that Lilies. There it is. Got your Dunsparce? Or you're going to have to... Oh, it has a 0 retreat cost, doesn't it? It's got a 0 retreat cost. They're fine. Well, we can say bye to Weedle. And we're going to take a lot of damage on Celebi. We should be okay, though, because we have another Weedle waiting in the wings. And we can get... Let's see. What can we get? We don't have a stadium. If we pull a stadium, that'll help. But we need another Weedle, Kakuna, and Beedrill. Unless, actually, oh God. Am I not seeing the 2 Duskulls there? Am I crazy? Come on. They can totally snipe my whole bench. If they pull... Oh God, if they pull Dusclops, 2 of them, like, our game is over. I need Psyduck. This is Psyduck's time. Psyduck's moment. Yep, there they go. For the Dunsparce. But I thought they were going to go for... Okay, never mind. I wish I hadn't wasted this energy. Celebi, your time will be limited here. Do your best. If I put Weedle out now, it's going to die. Dunsparce can take 50 damage here. Huge risk. This might be over very soon. But we need another Weedle, another Kakuna, and a Beedrill. But also we need... Okay, I just need a Beedrill. Okay. All right. It's going to have to work. Okay, so we get a Beedrill. We need a Forest. And then we can get... We have Dolliv. So let's get Smoliv here. No, hold on. Nope, Shaman. Shaman, hello. What am I doing? It's Mega Starmie. You have Shaman. What's wrong with you? Also, why am I pulling Zerosix Machinations all the time? I have one. Oh, this is it. Yep, they're gonna... Yep, okay. We concede. Yep, they're gonna... No, let's let them play it out, I guess. Even if they're gonna take their time for some reason. Really, look. Here's what happens. Dusclops, Curse Blast, 5 damage counters onto Dunsparce, putting Dunsparce down to 20 HP. 120 damage to Celebi, 50 to Dunsparce. This is the last turn. What are you doing? Use your Dusclops. It's the end of the game. Sure, you don't want to use your Dusclops. Whatever. I wouldn't have had a win condition available to me if I'd put Weedle out there anyway. It would have just killed it. So, it is what it is. We lose. Straight up. Looks like you couldn't take the heat. It was a water Pokemon. What do you mean? Some people, like, they're probably running some Charizard, Mega Charizard deck, and they use that, and then they just never changed it. Every time. It is every time now. Every time during this stream, at the very least, I've chosen tails, it has come up heads. Every time. It's like 4 coin flips or something. Where the hell is Celebi, man? This is driving me out of my mind. All right, Dunsparce, you go up front. At least we have a Kakuna and a Beedrill and a Force of Vitality and an Energy. That's kind of cool. It's not the worst. It's just I got no way to accelerate my deck at all. Like, Dawn, Lily, where y'all at? I only have like 2 Dawns in the deck, maybe 1. Maybe I need to fix that. Because I'm clearly having issues here. Clearly having issues. I don't even have Meowth anymore to do that. What the hell are you? Cornerstone Mask. Prevent all damage to this Pokemon by your opponent's Pokemon that have an ability? Well, that's fine. Beedrill can fix that. We're good. Okay. So that other Dunsparce has a 0 retreat cost. I think I need to change to that Dunsparce, not this one. Asako Ito, you have my apologies. But that would be super helpful right now. Oh my god. Okay, we just end the turn here. Would be nice to pull that. I would love to pull that card. But it's not in the cards for me. So we're looking at Toucan here. Very scary. Very scary setup here. Yep. I think it does 20 damage for every Pokemon on the bench. That's Toucan. Oh, good. And they have Dusclops too. All right. This is the whole reason Psyduck is in the deck at all. So we just got to figure that out and pull it somehow. Oh, hey, how about that? This is not going to work because it's not a grass type, but I mean, I can still pull some more Pokemon this way. So I have one Weedle, Kakuna, Beedrill. It'd be really nice to get an Arboliva. Just for the Duskulls. But I don't think that's happening. We'll let Celebi handle it. I don't have any energy. I can't actually move Dunsparce out of there. Haha. Take your time. That's a pretty good card. Once during your turn, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, if you have any Terra Pokemon in play, which that's what Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon is there for, you may search your deck for up to 2 trainer cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Like Dawn here. Interesting. It's really good. I don't have a Terra Pokemon though, nor would I have one, but again, I'm down to just a couple cards and no way to fix that. This is the attack that's scary. 20 more damage for 60 plus 20 per benched Pokemon, both theirs and mine. So just looking at their 5 benched Pokemon, that is 100 plus damage. So it's 160 damage right there. This is a one colorless energy attack, by the way. Plus 60 more because I have 3 benched Pokemon. 220 damage for 1 energy. And that's because we can... Oh, okay. All right. Okay. That's... Why did you put it in your active spot? Oh, because they had to. Oh, I get a prize card, I guess. Give me a Lily's Determination, please. Pokegear. All right, let's give it a shot. We're giving it a run here. Let's see what it does. I didn't... Oh. That's right. That was an ability. All right. I got to figure out why suddenly my deck is not working. you guys have watched me use this deck for weeks, and it's been working better than that. Hell, the first game I played tonight was just like that. But we are getting to the end of the stream here. I am very happy that more people came through. Of course I am. Of course I would be. Those of you who came through and those who've been lurking, I appreciate y'all so much. But you know the deal. We're going to be raiding out to a rad creator, a rad streamer. So if you're ready to maybe find a new favorite streamer, let's do that now. Let's see who we got. Looks like Has Agents playing The Binding of Isaac, which I've been playing recently. Again, after a long, long time of not doing it. Emmett is doing a Road to 3K thing. He's running Mappies right now, so let's go say hi to Emmett. Yeah, let's raid Emmett. Let's do that. Y'all know you've seen Emmett before. I did that stream with him before. And if I go to Worlds, I'll be doing another one, so that's another reason for me to head out there. So let's raid Emmett, and y'all do me a favor and say some nice things. Even if you got to go, just say hi or something like that, or just stick along for the raid. Stick around for the raid. You know I appreciate that a ton. We will be back on Thursday for another stream, hopefully like this one, where we got to talk about PCs for a while. And then I got to lose at TCG Live a lot. What the heck was that? I don't know. Before you go, would you like to do a live critique of the concept? I don't know that I want to show it until we've figured it out. I am very weird about brand identity and styling and things like that. Like, I don't want that to be on the VOD. I kind of want to be able to come out of the gates running. You know what I mean? But I mean, I understand the excitement. I'm excited too. I really, really am. And I can't wait to see what you come up with. But we're going to keep it under wraps for now. Just to, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's more impactful that way. I think it'll be more fun that way. But yeah, let's drop a raid for Emmett. He's doing something special right now. So it's a thing, and we like to support. So let's go do that. And I will catch y'all on Thursday. So thank you for hanging out. And until Thursday, please take care. Actually, not just until Thursday. Just take care in general. All right. See you guys later.
Let's go, nerds!